There it is. Going to have those cameras up, and that's also going to help Ramu to be able to play a little bit more around the map as well. Not to mention the Evil Eyes, and then the Castle Barricades to slow things down. So this is going to be on Empire to really suss things out early and get an idea which parts of map control they can get quickly, and which parts are going to require intensive droning and pushing players in NORA-RENGO out. Even when you get map control on this map, though, we've seen this season especially, map control is certainly not a permanent thing. Doesn't matter how many claymores you have, doesn't matter how many people you have on flank watch, the drop hatches, the 3 staircases, you cannot dominate this map, especially if you lose anyone on attack early.
Well, I think Team Reciprocity, who will be in the second semifinal against G2 today, are the perfect example of that, in which that they have the utmost fluidity in their gameplay. And like you said, it doesn't really matter if you have an extensive flank watch. You've got 3 people watching your flank, for God's sake, and they still rip through you. And NORA-RENGO and Empire also have similar play styles to that. Not to the degree that Reciprocity bring, with all 3 of their high-tier fraggers maneuvering the map with ease, but it's a close second for both of these teams.
Yeah, definitely going to be the case here where they're going to have to fill each other out these first couple of rounds, I imagine. So it really could be up to kind of a coin toss of sorts for the first 2 as both teams look to see what kinds of things they can get away with. That's when you start to test the limits, much like a child. But much like a child, often going to get told no and smacked down very hard if that doesn't work out. So Joystick, of course, going to be the one to test that with his typical admin push, something we saw him stray away from later on, and actually be a bit more successful on against Liquid when he stopped continuing to do this, but he's going to see if he can get away with it, as he doesn't really worry too much about anyone being on the second floor as much, because the bomb site not being there or on the top floor means this is something he should be able to get away with. But he's going to need some backup here from Shockwave soon, who I imagine might go for some pushes on the projector potentially, something he did a lot of yesterday.
I also like seeing the bans coming out are not direct counter bans to one individual on either side. They got rid of the Echo, which was dominating and completely influential in changing the course of, honestly, all the games yesterday. They take out a Glaz, which, like I said, has either been a sandbag or a godsend for some teams. And on the Empire side, they take out the Mirror and the Ink, the same bans they always do. But Joystick has free mobility on all of his preferred operators, the 2 of them, and same thing with Waka. Valkyrie is not being banned out like Liquid tried to do again, or not Liquid, whoever they played yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, though, that was a good operator for Shockwave as well. So both teams not wanting to ban what they want to play, but there we go, some missed shots leading to Waka being able to stay alive through that potentially. And that's going to be a bit of a problem here because that's still continuing to burn time, because there is just down about the 2-minute mark. Waka, fortunately, just gets punished on his feet, but Scyther in the meantime is going to finish off Papilia, so this is looking pretty good for Empire, who've essentially gotten 2 kills early on here with just a bit of punishment to Karjeka.
Well, the big shock will be Ramu inside of Bathroom to remove the head of Karjeka, as he'll now flank back down Yellow Stairs, leaving Waka to bleed out and die, and everyone on Empire unaware that they've downed Waka inside of CEO. They also have Mario to contend with inside of the Bathroom on the main floor. Scyther continues to push his way through. Team Empire right now running low on time. Another peek from Ramu will do a little bit of damage to Joystick before backing off, and Scyther will have his flank cut off inside of Zig Hallway. Now utilizing some of these X-Kairos charges onto the back walls. As Shepard had taken out the garage panel, and there goes Joystick again, taking down Waka finally in behind CEO. So it's Mario and Raysil, peeking his way up Yellow Stairs. Shockwave will remove Mario from play. A good flank here from Raysil, but he's now abandoned the objective, and this is free site control for Empire if they can take advantage. Trying to push 1 in through the garage panel, 1 through the office hallway, and 1 remaining on top. Control Joystick will be down. Raysil taking fire from the backside, and Shepard in the dying moments will give Empire an initial lead.
Now, one problem I think NORA-RENGO ran into a bit there was they ran into way too many firefights early. They had good firefights where they were able to get away to an extent, but didn't do so. They continued to press their luck. Because of that, the time burning down didn't really backfire against Empire, because they got so many kills during that time that they didn't actually have to go for a plan, and absolutely worked out in Empire's favor. So NORA-RENGO going to have to think a bit more cautiously about their own play, but that's what I said about testing those early rounds. They wanted to see how much can we get away with on this map, how much can we move around, and they were adequately punished for it. Joystick able to do his thing. He did take a bit of damage, but he seems to be able to get away from most engagements without taking enough damage to put him out of the fight. We rarely see him get reset either. He just doesn't seem to be able to need it. He will continue to press and press and press until he dies. But that's usually the job of an entry fragger like that. Even if he dies, as long as he gets his entry done, gets the map control for his team. But we also saw a lot of good flanks come out from the rest of Empire to catch a lot of the players of NORA-RENGO off guard. So this is going to be on them now that they're playing a different bomb site here. It plays a little bit differently in terms of, we know they attack from admin. We can use that to our advantage we can control this map a little bit better this time, and this is where they can play the fact that yellow stairs is just not really controlled by Empire.
Honestly, with that roam game from NORA-RENGO, I expected to come out in full force again. Number one, because of the amount of time they kill. All it takes is one gunfight to go in opposite direction, and maybe Waka's foot not to be exposed behind the desk. And suddenly, Empire are stalling out on a roam clear. So I imagine NORA-RENGO, while they didn't get the round out of it, and the gunfights didn't exactly go their way, they still feel pretty confident about their roaming potential on console. And that's really a good sign to see from NORA-RENGO, even after they dropped the first round. And for Empire, you got to speed things up a little bit near that end. If you're still 45 seconds left and you're still clearing out the top floor, 2 floors away from the objective, something's gone wrong.
The upside of it is they did have the garage doors open, so if they needed to go for a plant, it was entirely possible, but they needed to have that diffuse play on lock. Billy, though, denying some of that admin play early on. He's playing the ACOG, but it is a little, I mean, I suppose this is a risky play. Playing the ACOG so far up, usually playing the ACOG, you're going to be playing it far back in the console side to use that long desk to your advantage, take the fights to them as well and slow them down. But he wants to deny as long as possible and hope if he takes damage, he's got that Rook armor, he could back off and really just slow down an admin push. But this is where Shockwave was doing exceedingly well yesterday, was on these plays on the projector side using his grenades to full extent. And that is something they will be able to do here, but there is a Jaeger ADS, so they're gonna need to burn that before he can do some work here, but it looks like they must already have as he goes for the throw, but completely read into as he completely telegraphed that yesterday.
Confident plays there from Racil, as just 30 seconds prior he was laying prone underneath those windows, trying to see if Shockwave would go for the rappel upside down directly onto the balcony, but good spot from him, a good pick, and another run out here from Waka. He has diffuser control. Papilia and Ramu both tack on. All of a sudden, it's Karzeka in the middle of a landslide, a 1v5 to work out of. No diffuser control and being constantly peeked by Papilia. Outside the bathroom, oh, what a shot by Karzeka. He's got the smoke, close range. Takes up the Toxic Babe, placed on the wall. Another one will be thrown out by Racil, but now Karzeka really needs to retreat, and the Pulse Cardiac Sensor from Ramu directly below him as he ejects the hatch. Continuing to cycle back and forth, not really a planned progression. The Nitrocell will land errant and not connect onto Karzeka, but inside of admin, still a 1v4 in time dwindling, using all of his utility, will now vault straight into Tellers and take down Ramu. Another flank at the bottom of Spiral is Waka, and he'll finally close it off.
Great clutch attempt there by Karzeka, but the big problem with the attack from Empire coming out on console, so when they're attacking out down to garage, for NORA-RENGO, they know they have to worry about a lot more of the map because the top 2 floors, the approaches are going to be a little less predictable outside of the push onto admin. But when you are controlling the bomb site console, you know they're pushing mostly from the admin side. There are limited control angles. You know they have to push projector. You know they have to control spiral. Because of all those different predictable angles, they were able to play so much more aggressive towards the positions they knew they were going to be fighting against. Absolutely worked out to their advantage. The only problem is you can only play console once every 3 rounds potentially, so now they have to go back to garage and figure out a different way to play this. They played very aggressively upstairs last time, which in theory should have been the right move to kind of delay as long as possible, but it didn't really work out, and they might want to turtle a little bit more, maybe still have 1 or 2 roamers up top, but have them ready to drop hatches, have them ready to push back the site, and honestly, they might even want to play a little bit heavier bathroom, which is what they look like they're reinforcing now. That seems like the smart approach, because a bathroom play lets you deny piano for a good period of time, but still potentially safely drop hatch, and you also deny some lobby play as well, so it is one of the safer ways to deny the middle floor. Top floor is always a gamble, though.
10 seconds left.
Looks like Waka and Ramu will be rotating upstairs to go for their roam game once again over by CEO and bathroom hallway. Waka throwing out some Valk cams again, and obviously his preferred operator, but also having some pretty good success with the Bandit in the last round, and honestly, he and Maryu often trade roles back and forth, whether it's the Ash role, the Bandit, anything with a UMP, honestly, anything with a Nitrocell. It's always the same roles going back and forth between Waka and Maryu, and whoever's feeling like they're having a hot day, they'll take the more aggressive stance.
Well, Waka is taking an aggressive stance here up. Hopefully won't get caught, like you said, with his feet sticking out of the desk, but the important thing is he has that hatch ready, but I was gonna say he needs to make sure that the piano control is still there from the bathroom first before he drops it, but good floor placement there. We'll at least give him a backup if they go to approach it, but he knows this is, again, the approach, the predictability. But that is the one thing we've talked about with Empire, right, is their predictability is something that can be used against. Liquid did use it to an extent yesterday, but we saw that is not enough. you also have to have the aim, and NORA-RENGO are known to have that aim.
It's a contest of two teams who arguably have not the most developed strategies in the world, at least that we've seen so far this week. And Shockwave will take down Maryu as he dives into Piano, drops him down the hatch, and will catch Maryu off guard. He tries to rotate through the antechamber hallway, and now in behind Circle Desk again. Has someone to contend with inside of the bathroom, and now it's Waka, who was originally all the way upstairs inside of CEO, drops down the cubby hatch, and a frag grenade being prepped and launched straight in. A tap fire there from Waka, but Joystick will take down Papilia before Ramu will trade out Joystick. Waka still alive inside of the bathroom, causing some havoc until Shockwave presses in and removes him from play. Ramu retaking the objective as he's rotated back downstairs and trying to use a nitro cell or a cardiac sensor. Try and acquire another pick, try and bring the man count back into favorable position for Nora.
Well, the important thing is they're just now opening the garage, so that is one thing that NORA-RENGO can play off of here, is they've done a good job fragging, but now's the time to come back to site, play off of that. They have the two people downstairs, C4 is coming out, they have the Evil Eyes and the Alta to try and defend this, but they need to play smart on angles. They need to try and get whatever intel they can, and Ramu getting another good pick here, starting to even it out, but with garage door open, this is where Empire could get more predictable, and they need to use that to their advantage to last out this round.
The verticality coming out from Karzeka to remove any possible rotations towards white pipes or the common rotate into the kitchen towards the back of white van. Karzeka still bouncing back and forth between positions up top, and Shepard, who carries diffuser, still outside of the garage panel. And now, as Karzeka looks away for just a moment, as he goes to the antechamber, a flank coming out from Ramu. The shots from the Alta won't land, but pressing up, Ramu's gonna grab one. Another one for Ramu as he stops the plant. Finally finished off by the Evil Eye, and Ramu again! A huge show of force from Ramu on the castle, and NORA-RENGO successfully defend the basement on their second attempt.
Well, what a round from Ramu, being the umpire on Empire that round. Fantastic play on a non-fragging operator, doing his best, using what little intel he had on the heartbeat sensor, but a lot of that was just good game sense. You saw him wasn't always just, oh, let me find out exactly where they are. You know, most of the intel on their team was dead or inside itself. Just great calls, great game sense. And that is the kind of top-level play they need to not only bring in this match to make it to the finals, but against their prospective opponents that will be coming up in those finals if they can make it that far. So this is on Empire now to start to figure out NORA-RENGO, start to figure out, okay, we need to lock down some of these key players like Ramu. We did manage to get a good pick on Waka that last time. We did cordon him off to the bathroom, but much better trades coming out a lot of the time from NORA-RENGO. They were able to at least trade back some of the kills on people that they lost, and they continued to progress down the floors, didn't give up too much upstairs, but it was still down to the wire there. Now they're playing the middle floor. This is where it's gonna get a little bit tougher because now they've got to control top. But with the pulse of Maryu, is that Maryu this time playing well? That should be interesting to see because he's going to be playing that Archives play, something very typical of this bomb site. You couldn't even see him go for the C4 throw through the hatch next to lobby. That is a fun one. If you have the angle down pat, that could be a very good play that is very hard to deal with. So Empire going to have to do a bit more bottom-up control than they might be used to on this attack if that pulse is able to stay alive.
Attackers are moving to defuse a
Team
bomb.
Empire losing a round that they had handedly in control off the individual efforts of Ramu, and that's kind of been the story for both of these teams, digging themselves out of holes off the individual efforts and proficiency. And it looked like Ramu was almost caught off guard on a rotate there as Joystick immediately on those admin windows, awaiting the ingress of any of those defenders, and Ramu will get out of dodge as fast as humanly possible back towards long desk, and he'll wait out for anyone on an entry into copy hallway.
Well, again, this is getting predictable. We saw last time even a good run out onto the rappel of Shockwave because of the predictability. He might even consider switching sides on the rappel just to be a little less predictable, but of course that exposes to some other jump outs from the piano windows. Waka looks like he is setting up potentially for a jump out, or at least to deny any control over there, but now Waka's starting to be the predictable one playing over in the console side. Karzeka's gonna help drone in for his teammate Joystick, who often is going to be droning for himself as well, but they gotta know Waka is gonna potentially drop the hatch, which if they can force him out, then they know where he's playing without having to drone him. They just need to take shots at his position. And if he's smart, he's going to drop. But I could see a very aggressive play from Waka if ill-timed for Joystick actually punish Joystick's play in despite the droning.
Waka will drop back down to join Racel on the yellow stairs. Once he can go all the way to the basement and possibly facilitate a flank up to Visa stairs to come in on the backside unsuspectingly on Team Empire. It's going to be up to them to watch their backs and make sure they have proper flank control. And looks like Papilia's taking a little bit of damage inside of the objective as the Bandit is currently not bringing a Nitro Cell for that plant play. That's been a back and forth contest, but now Scyther will take down Mario on an attempted flank through Visa's stairs. That'll most likely dissuade Waka from attempting the same thing, and now Empire stacking outside of the front door as a lobby push. No smokes on the side of Empire, as there's no glass available to see through them, but it looks like they're just going to try and bull rush in through the front door.
Well, it is surprising how much they gave up control of the projector room above. You see the hatch there. So Shockwave being able to stay alive up there, open up the floor with his sledgehammer as needed. He even rotates back out to the patio because he's feeling safe there. But a lot of angles are being held from outside. As you mentioned, they're great angles, but those don't necessarily lead to a plant unless they can get something to cover. Smokes now coming out from the opponents, and there's no smokes on Empire's side to try and cover for a plant. They need to get enough frags going on here to make this work, and very little utility to do that.
Well, a couple of stuns coming in, and a frag grenade from Shockwave will take down Racel. That's the smoke, but running immediately away from a Nitro Cell launched out from downstairs. Now Scyther and Shockwave will both fall. Ramu and Waka joining in, but Joystick able to trade out Ramu for that top control once again. Plant gets down, Papilia is just half a second late on the flank through Circle Desk. Waka has one holding his flank on Spiral Stairs. It's immediately traded out, but Joystick will shut down Papilia. The hatch is reinforced, so this will force Waka to go down a staircase, go for a very aggressive vault out onto the A balcony.
Well, this is not looking good for Waka.
Waka heading back over to Spiral Stairs. He'll vault the balcony. Pre-fire's coming out, and he's about halfway through the timer now on the diffuser, and they're holding all the way back from main gate. Makes it in close on the diffuser, and Waka's going to try and hold this. All of Empire. Karzeka joining in, trying to come up onto the balcony. He can't hit the shots. Waka close range. He gets it! Failed coverage by Empire, and NORA-RENGO. 3 straight rounds.
What an oversight. I don't think that was a diffuser so much as that was a gift box for NORA-RENGO that round. You plant it, you get away with it despite not having smoke, despite not having cover, despite the hatch being reinforced, so you can't use that angle. And what do? You make the same mistake Liquid made against you. You don't cover it. And look, the smiles on NORA-RENGO's face. They did not, I gotta imagine, they can't believe that just happened right there. He had to imagine in his head, there's no way I'm getting away with this. They're just gonna shoot me. He sees the shots coming down on him, and somehow a palm tree saves his life. What an amazing play by Waka. I mean, I appreciate the strategy in terms of them. Okay, we can give up projector because we're gonna reinforce the hatch, but Sledge just did not use that to be able to cover that. He did not stay upstairs. He just gave up upstairs control to Waka instead of holding an angle on the diffuser. They both took long angles, but it's like they took a vacation before getting into those positions. You know when the diffuser's planted, it's not gonna take you very long to figure out, okay, I need an angle on that, but I think they were so cautious of the way Waka is able to beat things. But that is unfortunate. So much work into planting that diffuser, just not able to stick it down. Although I am a little impressed they were able to get it planted without a whole lot of utility to cover it. That was down to really good angle coverage from the outside, good grenade usage as well, so. I don't know, NORA-RENGO starting to walk away with Empire to map here. Obviously, we may see things switch with the side switch, but so far, seeing a lot more confidence coming out of them, and Empire seemingly making just small misplays completely being capitalized on.
Well, we talked about how yesterday Evil Geniuses were eliminated by Team Reciprocity, and without a doubt, Evil Geniuses were the hometown favorite, at least here in Montreal. As Parker so astutely said on Twitter, you couldn't go 12 feet without seeing an EG jersey. Just a few moments ago, we got a NORA-RENGO chant, and as was mentioned on the analyst desk, I imagine Kizoku has had a helping hand in garnering NORA-RENGO a few fans, and I wouldn't be at all shocked to see that NORA-RENGO has become the favorites in this tournament simply because of their attitude and their upset potential.
Yeah, I'd like to see maybe a little bit more cheering here coming out of Empire, even when they win rounds. Maybe just a little bit of confidence boosting. We saw even yesterday when Joystick looking distraught, Coach managed to say a few things to him, kind of put him on the back end. Managed to make it work, but Shockwave now finally getting shut down. That's a lot of grenades. Joystick getting knocked to the floor as well. Papilia making it work with that rotate. This is, again, another faulty round here for Empire. Although, if the finish doesn't come onto Joystick, that could turn this around just a smidge, but that top floor again proving to be a huge problem for Empire.
You want to know the most depressing thing about that is it's the exact same run out, kill, and return to objective that Paula used on them yesterday.
Yeah, again, that predictability. They are not really varying. They just need to execute better. But what do we get from NORA-RENGO? Unpredictability against that predictability. You know, they talk about stratting and counter-stratting and things like that, but if you're not adapting, you're just spending a lot of time taking a lot of notes to take the big L.
Contest inside a circle desk, and Shepard will shut down the nitro potential from downstairs. Leveling Mankind again, but joystick down to about 5 HP as he peeks out of the copy hallway. Hitting the deck with Papilia, taking a very long angle out from the bathroom doorways. He's trying to repel this push up long desk by Team Empire, and Papilia will tack on for his second of the round, taking down Shepard. Rotating outside currently is Scyther. Maria will tack on onto the 5 HP joystick. So it's just the two left for Empire in a 2v4. Scyther and Karzeka, they don't really have a lot of pushing potential right now as far as utility is concerned. They don't have a lot of time, and they aren't even close to each other. And Raisa will remove Karzeka with no potential for a refrag. Coming out from Scyther, he's alone, abandoned, not a lot to do with 30 seconds and no diffuser.
You also have to keep in mind the other defenders also have the Rook armor now, making them even more resilient to that Type 89. Doesn't matter though, Papilia shuts it down. Decides the round is over. Taking it 4-1. What a performance here from NORA-RENGO. This is what we came to see. This is what the flag there is for, to represent just how crazy this is gonna be. And with that, I think—
What am I watching?
I don't think that's the tactical timeout Empire we're hoping for.
I love this. I love the NORA-RENGO enthusiasm. I think we need to see a lot more of that. You know, we talked about yesterday with Liquid, with Gohan kind of, I don't know, losing his marbles at his own teammates. And then we see the stark contrast in NORA-RENGO, who seems so relaxed. And this is, without a doubt, the most high pressure, high stakes, high intensity game these guys have ever played in their entire careers.
Yeah. But a team that can laugh even on rounds that they lose, that's a winning team in my mind. That is what has taken them this far already. And honestly, if they could keep this up, I don't see a limit other than the end of the tournament here. It's looking so good, whereas Empire not look super happy. I mean, at this point, the coach doesn't look mad, at least. That's a good sign. He's just, you know, trying to recollect them. He's got his clipboard of strats there, something he can try and do to bring them together, but it's on them to do what he's suggesting, what they could do a little bit better. You see the thoughts coming out as well in terms of, all right, we know what we're doing wrong. Now it's time to figure out what we can do right. But we saw them come back against Liquid yesterday in a similar situation. If they lose map 1, that is certainly not them down and out, because they are a team that proved they could come back against Liquid. But I don't know, this is with the peppiness of NORA-RENGO, that might be hard to come back against just from a mentality perspective alone.
Yeah, Empire's coach there looking like I did as soon as I saw Papilia go for that run out. And that was a 3K in the round for Papilia on the Rook, the roaming Rook, seemingly touching every square inch of the map at one point during the round. But like you said, it's a 4-1 lead off the jump for NORA-RENGO on Consulate. They barely dropped the first round. Like I said, it comes down to a few gunfights upstairs, and maybe that round goes entirely differently. But it's 4 straight for NORA-RENGO
on Empire's map.
Yeah.
You know, this is looking really, we know NORA have a very good bank. So if Empire can't bring this back, that might be pretty difficult. I mean, to be fair, they did do very well on the Liquid's map yesterday in a situation when they'd been a bit down and out. So it's entirely within the realm of possibility to come back strong on bank if they can't take this map. We're certainly not writing off Empire yet, but just looking dire for the way the situation is going. Every single bomb site, NORA-RENGO have had no problem defending for the most part. Unfortunately, you're not going to see the 4th bomb site for them, but nice little fact there about Consulate. So we saw facts before, of course, about how they were just undefeated on Coastline. That quickly got erased from history.
Liquid putting an end to that yesterday, and like you said, they came back after a very poor showing on Coast. There's nothing saying that Empire can't come back, and it's not even done map number 1 yet. And like you said, the side switch could alter things greatly. We could just see a very defensive-sided Consulate, which is not very outside of the norm. But it's impressive play all around from NORA-RENGO, and it seems like Empire just don't have any momentum behind them. And The first round was close, second round was a bit of a nail-biter, and then the last couple rounds just haven't even been close.
Well, if last time on Garage was any indication, Ramu needs to be shut down early as he went crazy on this pulse, something he was able to get a lot of kills out of, no matter what they seem to do on Empire. There's that C4, of course, it doesn't connect. That's going to put the scare into him, continue to delay this further because he's just safely dropped now. He doesn't need to contest this. Nice C4, gonna put an end to it. Don't need to be upstairs to get the kill.
Look at they go. The Nitro Cell, the teamwork. It looks like it was almost going to be a team kill. And then everyone listening to the comms and backing away slowly as they all watch Shockwave go up in flames. Drone's coming out now downstairs from Empire to try and establish what is going on. It's a full peel back for NORA-RENGO as they've flexed a couple rounds earlier on that they were roaming intensely and holding map control inside a bathroom, but a minute in, and everyone from NORA-RENGO fall back to the objective as they've expended all of their possible Nitro cells as well.
Yeah, important thing though is the grenades are lost there. Shockwave has shown that even when they're not getting kills, those grenades have been very important in pressuring positions, getting people out of those positions because they're not bringing a ton of other utility to do that. Yes, they also have the lifelines, which have been helpful in that. Those don't guarantee you get someone out of a position the way a grenade does. And they've not been able to shut it down. And there also is no Jaeger available this time, so that is even more important to keep those grenades alive a bit longer. Yes, they're out of the C4s, but getting at least one kill with those is a good start. They also have a smoke, and there goes Papilia, take it down. What little soft reach they had on Ash as well.
A little bit of top soft destruction now as Scyther will take down Ramu, cleaning away the kill from Scyther, who's about to shoot through the floor himself. And Shepard has the garage panels opened up, bullets dancing around the head of Papilia, but won't find the lethal mark. And now two members cut down to one upstairs as Mario with a very nice shot upwards to the kill holes in the floor and up to the hatch. Stuns come out, but Waka at the bottom of yellow stairs will take down two. It's 5 straight for NORA-RENGO on the defensive side, and they head into the second half up 5-1.
Honestly, at this point from Empire, we need to start seeing pinch kind of play. Even though they're switching over to defense now, they need to be using their communication effectively. And honestly, that's harder when you're a bit tilted, to communicate effectively, to focus, to do your thing. And those cheers, I tell you what, if you're Empire right now, that is certainly not going to motivate you unless it just makes you angry enough to get the kills. But fantastic play there, Mary. You're doing a great job. So much teamwork and communication. He bails out of there. Immediate turnaround on that. Go ahead, take the bathroom. Great plays all around. Good use of that C4. And again, they got the garage panels open with 30 seconds left in the round. The time management falling apart because they were rebuffed constantly. It seems like Empire are great at playing back on their attacks a bit, but because they're not pinching anyone out, because they're not actually gaining ground to get kills on those, all they're doing is just huddling NORA-RENGO back in sight, which is great if you've got 2 minutes left or a minute and a half left. But when you've got 30 seconds left, all you're doing is pressuring yourself into a position where you're going to have to walk through bullets. And if you don't have utility to do something about that, it's going to be a problem. And that was honestly a big problem we saw from Empire. It was great fragging ops, but a lack of utility in any kind of way to facilitate a plant. We'll see though how they do on defense. They're going to be setting up with somewhat similar ops to what NORA, but NORA's going to bring a lot more utility here in the sense that they're going to be bringing that capped out a Thatcher as well to make sure that garage door gets open quickly. A good read on the fact that garage was going to be first, because if you're seeing a Thatcher and a Thermite, generally that is a read that is going to be the first bomb site. The capped out going to facilitate some smoke for that, something we didn't see from Empire. Just overall, this is looking like NORA-RENGO could run away to match point with this if Empire don't manage to bring it back to this round and kind of stop the bleeding. And they've already used their timeout. NORA-RENGO, even if they lose a single round, can go timeout to stop any of that momentum.
So Team Empire on their back foot, and the biggest shock right now for Team Empire is yesterday they had a very similar performance to this. They actually came out of the half on Coastline in their first map against Liquid yesterday, down 5-1. The problem was that both Karzeka and Joystick were AWOL. No performance on the scoreboard whatsoever. The stark contrast here is that everyone on Empire is actually pitching in. Their effort is just not enough, and they are being repetitively pushed back and completely denied by the performances and the individual skill of NORA-RENGO, and that's the most concerning thing for me. If it's just a case of a couple players on Empire not waking up and not being ready to go on time, we've seen bounce backs from them before. Seems like they're rearing to go. It just feels like NORA-RENGO are dominating on console right now.
Yeah, and this is a big problem. Not only that they got Thatcher to be able to open that garage door quickly, you give them a lot of piano control quickly as well. Yes, you did a little bit of damage to Buck there. He's still got the angle. C4 is potentially going to stop him, but no. Completely read into it because with the floors open, you can hear the rip. You can start to predict the play and move away from it a little bit. He's still getting to maintain that control. Maryu also not being punished. They're just running completely over top of Empire here. A little bit of a grenade throw. Mishaps, but doesn't do any damage to anyone. He's still got one left to try and work with here, try to push that out of position, and he's not over-pressing this. Doing damage to Shock right there.
Dangerous plays from Shockwave back-to-back. That's kind of like another Nitro Cell that missed on the side of Empire. So 0 for 2, swing and a miss for both of them. And Papilia has been contested by Shockwave multiple times through these kill holes, and yet no one has been able to find the kill. Joystick though on a flank upstairs, coming down Spiral, will take care of Maryu, and that's their fragging Ash removed from play. But it looks like NORA-RENGO a little less concerned with the top control, and a little more concerned with actually getting a plant off, in complete difference to what Empire were trying to do. Oh man, what a jump out from Joystick! He's still detecting Waka, will finally remove him, but now it's a 4v2 to work out for NORA-RENGO. Beautiful aggression coming out. Oh, and Waka with a great shot onto Shockwave. Pre-gaming the punch hole in the wall from Kitchen on the default cam will reveal the position of Papilia. So will the chorus of shots coming out. Waka with another one though. That's 3 on the round for him. He'll need the ace to keep this alive. Trying to stick a plant right underneath the ledge of White Van, and Empire aren't rushing up on this. He's gonna get this off. Waka completing the plant and pre-firing out though. He's mag dumping away and his escape has been cut off by the toxic gas at his backside. Big piece coming out from Scyther on the back, and Empire pinching in at the exact same moment. A beautifully executed retake, and they'll get the defuse off. They'll bring one back and stop the bleeding momentarily.
Well, given what we saw yesterday and what we're seeing now, the key seems to be Joystick able to play that Jaeger. His Ash play just not living up to the reputation of needing it to be banned consistently. Jaeger seems to be the real problem now. I was gonna say just before he jumped out, you know, Joystick needs to be a threat earlier on because very often we see him rotating a bit late back to site, but he did exactly what he needed to do. He said, okay, you have Thatcher, you have the ability to open these garage panels earlier. That means you're gonna huddle up in front of that garage, setting up for that plant. Perfect setup for him to leap down, do exactly what he needed to do, and you see that on the screen right now. Doesn't matter that he was traded back. That right there, that move won them the round because it stopped all the momentum of that plant. Yes, he got the plant down, but at what cost? Because there was still a smoke left because Joystick had stopped most of the plant attempts. That last smoke didn't need to stop it. Like you said, just cut off Waka's rotation. Waka was the only one to really even do anything for the most part that round. Tried to clutch it out for himself, but that's the confidence booster Joystick needed. But now the rest of the team, like you said, pitching before, needs to really just lift the whole boat higher because they're not a match point yet, but they're getting very close to it here. And we'll see some good intel coming out here in terms of they will have the bulletproof camera, plus the Maestro Evil Eyes, and that will be some good counter to smoke play because they know Ramu is continuing to bring that Capital, so smoke play very likely to be a key factor in this. I mean, more often than not, it's going to be to go for a plant inside console office, but they could still try and play this here. That deployable shield, though, is going to make it very unlikely if they want to go for a plant inside projector, especially that Evil Eye. Just too risky to go for it, unless you can really push them out. Upside, though, they do have Habana, which will allow them to open up the backside of that desk, pretty much where that deployable shield was. That will potentially pressure Maestro out of there, especially with the grenades and asphyxiating bolts they have to play with. So Nora doing a much, much better job bringing the utility they need to crack whatever Empire bringing. Just didn't see the same from Empire. The fragment power on Joystick was what they need. Shockwave, however, falling so early. That is a C4 already off from Waka. Still doing work for his team.
Not quite sure if that was an attempted run out. It was onto the A balcony, well read by Waka. Using a 1x sight on the Thatcher too. It's an old school look we haven't seen from a lot of players in a while now, but Waka making it work quite well. A lot of the NORA-RENGO players actually utilizing 1x sights for those close range engagements, and they're expecting Empire to get up in their face. A drone gonna miss Joystick inside a piano. Maryu still holding flanks, but shifting his focus every few seconds, and this could be another beautiful flank from Joystick. He's gonna find one in behind the vending machine. Joystick shut down by Waka. A great reaction there. He's got another one at the top of his stairs. The smoke choking him out. Flashbangs come raining in. Will full blind Papilia cooking a frag grenade up to the top of the stairs, and he'll detonate prematurely, but Ramu will clean up Scyther. Now Shepard alone on yellow stairs with no real exit.
Everyone on Empire seemingly getting pinched out here. They did use up the majority of the utility. They still have smokes to go for the plant. I can't imagine they have any grenades left here. They'll check the one grenade, no, 0 grenades left. So Ramu, though, doesn't need a grenade. Bullet's doing work. They know exactly where he's going to be playing. He is going for the plant. Ping's coming out from those evil eyes as well, doing some good work. But it is all on Karjeka to clutch this.
Karjeka whiffing on Papillion. Ramu cleaning up from the console windows. The Japanese hopefuls 1 round away from taking map #1 against the Russian machine that hasn't broken in a while, but on the verge of breaking, at least on Consulate.
Well, scary part is Bank being a very good map for NORA-RENGO going into this next match, especially if they go in with a 7-2 scoreline to start. We're going to have to see an even stronger comeback, I think, than we saw yesterday from Empire. This is going to be a tough fight. But again, the utility just working out for them. You saw how bad they got burned out on the stairs, how quickly they were pressured from multiple angles. They take yellow stairs, something Empire just failed to do. They're so focused on admin. And it is, again, that lack of flexibility ultimately on show here.
Seems like Empire getting read like a book by NORA-RENGO, and it's interesting that in their hype-up video before we started this match, that Empire said that NORA-RENGO strats were a little unsophisticated and a little premature.
That might have been a premature comment in and of itself.
And yet, I mean, your lack of ability to adapt is what has put you in a 4-round hole currently. The irony is not missed upon us.
Well, the way things are going right now, Empire might have a lot of time to think about their strats for the rest of the weekend. But it's certainly not over yet. We're not writing them off. Being on match point on your map with just 2 points on the board,
10 seconds remaining.
that's a terrible position to be in starting this off here, because as you said, the stakes just get higher and higher each day, and this is the furthest either of these two teams have been. I mean, yeah, that's an accomplishment in and of itself, but just ask Troy how it feels to not be going further. It is not good.
The distance is an accomplishment, but none of these teams will be satisfied unless they lift that brand new hammer in the middle of the stage, just waiting for one of these 4 teams remaining to hoist it above their heads. And it looks like NORA-RENGO are making a very strong case for why they should be at least one of 2 teams battling it out in the grand final, the best of 5 tomorrow, to lift that hammer and win the lion's share of a $2 million prize pool.
Well, they've got to know that this pressure is again going to come on yellow stairs. It's down Captau, combined with the grenades from Buck, generally to fight this, but surprisingly they've actually kind of stopped pressing that for right now, looking for other approaches instead. Waku and Ramu, yeah, been doing a bit of work so far. That is, yeah, I mean, but it's like when you're already up 6 points, when you're crediting just 2 players, you almost don't have enough room on the screen to credit the rest of the players of NORA-RENGO, who've absolutely been showing up and facilitating many of those kills with callouts and flanks and so much teamwork.
Well, this was the thing with Ramu coming in, almost like Virtue coming in for Fnatic. Both the APAC teams on this side of the bracket had new roster additions, and Ramu was a little more unknown than Virtue. Virtue came in with a very, very promising scouting report, and Ramu, the replacement for JJ, you know, he had a few things here and there, but it looked like he was still warming up from what we had heard inside the scrims and what we had heard from different teams. Man, the further NORA-RENGO go, the better Ramu gets.
Yeah. Good read from Nora, though, realizing that pushing the yellow stairs is going to be read into by Empire and taking advantage of the flexibility. But they are very heavily stacked up here. They did exactly what I was talking about last round, which is to be able to open up that small hole behind the long desk to get some angles behind, grenades coming out as well. Just trying to clear that area out as much as possible, push in for a potential plant, shooting through the table as well. Looks like they're getting up enough shots there. Papillion taking down Empire. Shockwave not able to hold it out for his team. Now it's going to be a lot of long fights. Waka already winning those.
Walking a shutdown joystick on the attempted flank up spiral stairs. Karjeka, though, will remove the head of Racehill. Ramu's taking a lot of damage from the Evil Eyes as well as the stun canisters come out. Waka has pressed into the circle door, but time dwindling here for NORA-RENGO. Try and close this map out. They have the 2-man advantage now. As Mario will dispatch of Shepard. The Evil Eyes get removed as well as Karjeka presses up into connector. He stops the defuse, but there's a lot of time left now, as they have the sight control, which is so influential. And now more shots coming out from connector. Karjeka will level things at a 2v2. Pressing up against the bathroom doorway. Scyther now. It's an onslaught coming from Team Empire. Ramu left alone inside of A-bomb, constantly pinged out. Karjeka will shut it down. Beautiful 2v4 execution from the Russian pair.
I think the big problem right there was just lack of utility on the Capitao towards the end. They could have easily cut off Karjeka by just smoking the doorway or his asphyxiating bolt, preferably smoke because, well, he's fighting along as with the ACOG, but just allowing him to fire from all the way in console office through connector into the site cost them that round entirely. They could not find a single position he couldn't seem to find him in, or the crossfire from his teammate. Surprisingly looking a little dismayed despite the fact that they're still sitting on this match point here. You guys should probably be a little happier, although I gotta imagine they felt this close to moving on to map 2 because they had a great start to that round, but they just let Karjeka completely dominate them from a single position. Had no way to fight it. They needed to reserve those smokes for later.
That plant spot there from Mariu was a little suspect. There was nothing really stopping him from staying and planting in behind the A-bomb out of the purview of Karjeka inside a connector.
Yeah.
He just chose to rotate, and that's where it all started to snowball. So
I think the Evil Eye scared them a little bit in terms of the ability to see through the smoke, but also the ability to kind of tag them up as they're planting. But that also offers the opportunity to be able to shoot the camera. So it's just, I wouldn't have definitely seen that as enough of a threat to stop that plant. Because once that plant is down, yeah, they're in a tough spot. There's little you could do. You don't have joystick left alive to go for some crazy flank or something like that. They definitely could have held that out had they been able to get the plant down and just denied Karjeka just long enough. You see Karjeka and joystick there along with Scyther, top fragging for their team, but Waka and Ramu, as you saw from the stats earlier, doing some serious work. We will see Ramu actually bring out the first Jackal of this match, so he's going to try and help shut down Joystick's roams, but also potentially be tracking Karjeka, as very often Pulse's footprints will get caught out because he'll go to do some setup for his team and rotate downstairs. More often than that, but downstairs is going to be the bomb site. Joystick going to be on that long flank upstairs for now. That's what he does, run around the map, stay in positions where he can stay alive for a while, pick off anyone who is stray, and then come back late for a flank. But guess whose footprints are gonna get picked up? Probably should have wiped your feet a bit better before you went running around Joystick.
Joystick gonna retreat all the way to admin as he waits for these first set of Jackal pings to expend, but considering they found their man off rip, I don't imagine Ramu will walk away from those footprints anytime soon. They want to have constant information on where Joystick is, and that's a dire strait for Empire to be in, trying to battle out of not having that flank potential that Joystick provides. And that's how dominant Empire are. That's when they're most dominant, is when Joystick has free mobility, and yet this Jackal is really going to hinder that.
That's always the question. Do you press him and potentially lose people on that pitch because he's so good in a fight when his back against the wall? Or do you just leave him and hope the pings will keep him off site long enough to execute and then anticipate his approach for that flank towards the end? C4 is coming out though, not doing really any damage here. That's going to be an unfortunate expenditure of utility, but they do not have the Capitao now. That is the one thing working in Empire's favor, because instead they focused on the Jackal, but that Jackal also brings a set of smokes, just no asphyxiating bolts.
Joystick still inside of admin right now as he's pressing in through the secretary desk doorway, and looks like all of NORA-RENGO for the moment have backed off. And this cardiac sensor coming out from Karjeka, constantly providing information. He has one nitrocell remaining on his person, but it was a whiff nitrocell from Shockwave earlier on, and another whiff nitrocell as it goes out from Karjeka and will not connect. So it's a lot of utility wasted on the side, and now Joystick droned out inside the connector. Ramu still has 2 Jackal tracks on his Inox, and he's just waiting for the peek out from Joystick. He sees the barrel of the gun. Oh, but what a shot! Joystick with the 5 HP, but he wins it out against Ramu and removes the Jackal, his biggest nemesis, from play.
Feels eerily similar to what we saw from Reciprocity and Fox before, but he's still on such low health, it won't be hard to shut him down as long as you get some kind of advantage. Mariu going for the flank. Unfortunately for him, it is called out. That is a pulse. He's going to know when you're on that approach, assuming he's got someone to cover him while he's on the heartbeat sensor, and that is going to deny their approach. Yes, they have the garage open, but way too many members of Team Empire left alive, and that's certainly going to help. Definitely worth it for Joystick there, getting a 2K before dying.
Flanks again from Joystick. Shockwave as well at the MPX on Yellow Pillar. Pings coming out even more onto the remaining attackers. Waka will fall at Shockwave, trying to go for 3. Shockwave lighting up Mariu, but unable to finish off. Will whip out the Deagle in desperation to try and finish it off, and he will. Shockwave with 3 to round out the round and keep Empire alive on console.
If I'm NORA-RENGO right now, first thought through my mind is call a timeout. Try and stop this momentum. Do not, if there it is, the technical timeout call. That is the right call at this moment, because you want to stop any chance of this momentum continuing. We saw what happened yesterday when Empire just got its head together, they finally realized what they were doing wrong. They managed to get a little momentum. Joystick was able to play his thing. The rest of the team was able to do their thing around it. It really worked out. And so far, we're seeing that come back again on the defense here from Empire. It's working out. I mean, there were some great plays that round, but the fact that they weren't able to win that fight against Joystick earlier really stalled them out of it because, again, they had to worry about that jump out that, again, punished them. When you have to watch your back the whole time, you cannot be effective on the push, and they were starting to get low on time. I think they've had good plays and good pushes. It's just down to individual plays that they're just not winning out on some of these fights, whether it be Karjeka or Joystick, shutting them down. We definitely have the skill here, but that is not a smile I see on his face. We need to see those smiles come back. We need to see the coach really rile them up for this. The crowd as well trying to charge that back up. If we do, we can see the shutout, but it's match point again. They still cannot take it that last inch.
This is also mirroring what we saw on map number 1 between Liquid and Empire yesterday, just reversed roles. As far as NORA-RENGO and Liquid are concerned, it was Liquid going up early, 5-1 at the half, and then Empire bringing a few rounds back before ultimately sputtering out as they just couldn't complete the flawless comeback run to push it into overtime. So far, Empire, like I said, have staved off elimination. They've stopped the bleeding for a little while, but they're always going to be on that back foot. It's always going to be elimination point until they can push it to overtime.
Well, now they're bringing 2 utility to try and shut down poor Joystick. He's now going to be tracked and called, and they're going to hope that's going to be enough to be able to stop the pressure from him. But none of that really matters when you fly out windows, right? You could be called and tracked all day long, but no one's going to catch that ping to the last second when you fly out a window. They just need to know, is he near somewhere where he can come flying out at us? And a lobby defense is definitely that case. You're going to be focused on a lot of areas where jump outs are a huge concern. We saw that, for example, just the pressure on Shockwave when he was on his repels. And that is again going to be the case here for NORA-RENGO. They need to have a smart approach. We could even see them approach from a different angle than that front door. Might be a smart play, but they also have 4 smokes. Something we didn't see from Empire. They did manage to get the plant down and then lose on it, but there's a lot more utility to make sure the plant does get down from NORA-RENGO at the same time as being able to track and potentially delay Joystick. So they have all the utility and tools that they need, but they need to get into positions early. They need to have that extra bit of time, and they need to take that top floor control projector. Broken windows, definitely going to delay this just a little bit in terms of Ramu making sure he has the right angle. Luckily, the C-78 pretty good at range, but we also heard a lot about how the PDW very good at range.
Papilia making his immediate ingress in towards Advent, and he'll do whatever he wants. Come grab this Visa default camera through the floor, as opposed to risking your life pushing in through Visa, unknowing if anyone's down that teller's hallway or creeping their way up the Visa stairs from the basement. Smart play, and all of NORA-RENGO continuously pushing in towards these pings coming out onto a couple members of Empire, currently holding down meeting room for that top control to try and protect themselves from what Empire at least tried to do on their attacking round while attacking lobby, which was just absolutely assault the objective and don't worry about your top control.
Well, they are definitely going for a lot of attempts at top control, but there's also a lot of members of Empire looking to rebuff that, and you pretty much got to force them off or kill them, because if you don't have a top control, we saw what Wok was able to do with it last time. It was definitely a big problem for the team, starting to try and put pressure on Joystick, and he falls for it. Waka, his absolute nemesis. I would love to see a stat of how many times Waka has specifically killed Joystick in this match. It's got to be nearing the double digits at this point.
The hardest part of that as well is that they have a Valkyrie and a Doc and a Maestro in play, so there could be a bulletproof camera, or Karjeka could have just taken barbed wire, but you're guaranteed all your default cameras, your black eyes, and your evil eyes are all going to be compromised, as Waka hasn't actually hacked them yet. Interesting. And he's got contention downstairs from Shockwave.
He certainly could go for the hack if he feels like it, but maybe it's just a case of he has a job to do right now in terms of pacing for this round. That's his focus, is to go for that flank to get the job done on the backside of the site to get set up for a potential plant as Mario tries to take the top control. Plant already going down inside the smoke.
Now the evil eye's not preventing this from happening. Scyther will take down Wako. The plant gets completed. Papilia with 1. Outside is Scyther as he has 2 to his list, trying to go for 3 against Ramu, and he nails it! But now Scyther left alone, detected on 20 HP, trying to lock it down from Spiral Stairs. Papilia whiffing on the shots. Scyther able to make it back inside the main lobby, going for a repel out now as Scyther is on top of the diffuser. Repelling back in is Mario in the bathroom hallway. A frag grenade cooked, and that'll wipe it out. NORA-RENGO win map number 1. 1 map away from the grand finals.
We nearly saw Nora make the same mistake Empire made of leaving that diffuser unguarded to be counter-diffused, or disarmed rather. But no, was not to be for NORA-RENGO, just ready to close out. Now, I gotta imagine the smiles are gonna be coming out from the team. They were looking a little bit concerned that they couldn't close it out, but that was again Empire's map. And that means now we go to Bank next, which Empire are gonna have a hard fight ahead on. But NORA-RENGO, very, very impressive this entire tournament. I haven't seen a single match there where I'm like, I'm concerned for these guys. It's just been top level play from APAC.
Beautiful work from NORA-RENGO to be able to establish that map 1 win. They get out to that early lead, Empire start clawing back a little bit, reminiscent of the first map yesterday against Liquid for Empire. But Nora, in the same fashion as Liquid, able to lock it out and win map number 1. But like you said, Bank will definitely trend to the side of NORA-RENGO, and especially with how much they've been able to shut down Joystick on this roaming game. Like you said, Waka has just been his nemesis all game.
And that's a big problem, is when you have someone shutting you down continuously. We saw how much him being free and able to do his thing made a huge difference for their momentum yesterday. But the map they got their momentum back on, ironically enough, was Consulate. Now they don't have that opportunity. Now they have to do that on Bank. Much harder map, but a very roam-heavy map. I almost wonder if we could see a ban coming out on Jackal or Dokkaebi coming out from Empire to try and stop them stopping him. So you hear the crowd a little excited for this potential of an APAC team in finals, but either way, could be Russia in finals as well. So very exciting, no matter the results of this match, but it is looking dire for Empire.
Bad look so far for the beginning of Empire. And like I said, it was a full team effort from Empire, which is usually their culprit, is if Karzeka and Joystick are not at 100%, then the team starts to struggle a little bit. And it's been a full team effort to put them at the top of the Season 9 of the European Pro League, at least after the first half. But in that game, it was a full team effort. Everyone was firing. NORA-RENGO were simply out maneuvering them, and their individual skill was on complete display. It was hard to imagine Empire bringing that back in any capacity, even when they started stacking rounds.
And I know we focus on those two a lot, but I think Shockwave is also an important player in this. The rounds where he's able to do well work out very well for his team. The rounds where he's getting shut down early really don't work out so well. I mean, he seems to be someone who's very important, feeding information or getting those plays, playing the Valkyrie similar to what we see coming out from NORA-RENGO. Able to be somewhat aggressive in a way that's a bit different than Joystick, but when he's shut down on it, whether it be a Sledge or a Valkyrie, it is definitely concerning for the team, and I think they need to work a little bit more as a unit in terms of trading off those kills onto their teammates, or at least being in positions where they're ready to pinch the players of NORA-RENGO, because I have yet to see very many pinches come out outside of some good crossfires from the outside of the building. Bank is not an outside of the building kind of map. They need to be in, and in a lot of potentially exposed areas like the lobby. This is going to be really interesting to see if the operator bans are as predictable as you would think, or if Empire is going to again be caught off guard. We could even see if NORA-RENGO want to take the chance at just throwing Empire off that much more, banning Jaeger here and saying, you know what, your Ashe hasn't been effective. When Jaeger's banned against you, you haven't been so effective. Let's do everything we can to make this hard for you guys to come back on our map. So assuming they don't need Jaeger as bad, I could see that being a very smart play just to lock this out.
I imagine if you're Empire, your first ban is going to be Jackal. Is that the secret? Is it just caffeine? Is that all NORA-RENGO run off of?
It certainly doesn't hurt. At the end of the day.
Can't hurt at all, no.
So you gotta see them repping those sponsors, making sure when they make this main stage, because it's the first time for them here, they gotta be showing off whatever they got, but they do make main stage, of course, in the APAC LAN finals, so it's not their first LAN event.
No.
But it's their first time at this particular LAN event, the Invitational, but I honestly don't think it's gonna be the last. As long as these guys don't fall apart, no matter what happens here, they've shown that they are here to stay, potentially. Fnatic as well, doing a bit better job this tournament. Also, just unfortunately, they had to face each other earlier on. While it did guarantee one of them got here, it did mean also one of them has to go home. Unfortunate for Fnatic, who finally had Magnet here this time. Empire, a little bit concerned, but the thumbs up. And I gotta imagine the dancing and excitement eventually gonna come out here from NORA-RENGO as they try and keep that momentum going forward.
Well, the funny thing, too, is that NORA-RENGO have been considered the underdog and easily wipeable in every single game that they've played. They're in Group D. Everyone classifies it as the group of death, and they pick one of the other 2 European teams in that group along with Evil Geniuses to make it out. Well, not only did they make it out of their group, they have outlasted Evil Geniuses in this tournament.
Yeah, it's been surprising a lot of it. And even the G2 match, I'd say, was a huge surprise in the sense of not necessarily people underrating SSG, but just in terms of how much they were able to take it back to G2 continuously. Does make me a little worried for G2 in the next matchup. And just in the same way, I'm worried for Empire right now, a team that should be doing as well as they do. We always talk about how competitive EU is, how much of a strong just area and region it is for these fights, whereas APAC doesn't have that same unity of region, that same level of constant competition. Japan, hopefully, I mean, if they disband, they seed other teams in Japan to bring it up to this level of play we're seeing, so that region alone just becomes the group of death carrying it into future matches.
It's been an incredible journey so far for NORA-RENGO, all the way from that very first game on Monday. Monday feels like a lifetime ago nowadays, but Empire will start things off on map number 2 with their backs against the wall and no escape maps, no escape games, no losers bracket. It is do or die for Team Empire on this map. Hibonic Laz will be the 2 bands on the attacking side, which is very interesting considering that Joystick has been shut down on the defensive side, still going for jump outs on Consulate, but there aren't jump outs you can really do on Bank unless you're just going to spawn kill.
Well, no target bans coming out against Empire. Pretty much the typical bans you'd often expect for this map for the most part. A little bit of predictability from Empire as well. So that does mean it's going to come down more so to the individual plays than the operator bans, since most teams are going to be well practiced against these particular bans. It also means Maestro's still going to be in play, something we saw sometimes impactful on the previous map. But in this map in particular, there are some great ways to play it. And Joystick going to be trying to do what he does. Ramu might be going for the double hard breacher here to make sure that they can get those hatches open, something you're also going to expect. And the Jackal going to go hunting.
I love these chants. These are amazing. I love seeing this team coming out of APAC, the underappreciated region, getting the support and love from the hometown crowd. Round number 1 on Bank, and I'm not at all shocked to see that we have a Jackal coming out from Papilia, as it was Ramu last time running the Jackal, but I don't think it'll really matter considering it's a pretty simple utility to utilize. Find Joystick's footprints, pin him in the corner, track him 3 times, kill him.
Yeah, and the thing is too, with the phone calls, it's not necessarily the sense that the phone's ringing the whole time, it's the chance to catch him off guard while he's answering it. Now, of course, the changes coming in the future means if he can hang out long enough, it'll answer itself and hang up, but still, that's a ways away from today, something he's going to have to potentially deal with as well as the rest of the defenders. It'll be interesting to see, though, if any real counter plays will be coming out from NORA-RENGO in terms of just being able to shut down the, I would hope, careless defense. We're going to come out for the most part outside of Joystick roaming around. Perhaps Scyther as well, taking up the mantle of what Shockwave usually plays. Looks like Shockwave's going to be bringing that pulse. I got to imagine he's going to be hanging out down in the basement as well. So should be 3 men at the very least on site here. Hopefully that means that Jackal won't be able to put as much pressure on them for this particular defense.
So he's going to be starting out over by top square as, like I said, his sole mission will be to find Joystick. He scans footprints and it turns out to be someone else. That kind of sucks, honestly. You want to find Joystick as he's your flank man. He's currently pent up inside of the garage, but I imagine that will change rather quickly as soon as NORA-RENGO begin clearing out the top 4s of the map and trying to establish some map control and convert into a site execute. That is the time at which Joystick always seems to find his way on the top 4 coming down on top of you.
Well, I do like that he is at least setting up some garage. You saw him shooting out the windows to give him the opportunity to pop some of those long angles to his defense approach. There is the footprint tracking already coming out on the pulse. Unfortunately, all that does is confirm usually what you already know at that point, that he's going to be playing downstairs. Does manage to keep them a little bit more constrained in terms of it's not going to have him going roaming or anything like that, but Waka already looking to put some pressure on while Jackal does his thing. Good teamwork in terms of the double tracking here while Maverick gets the hatches open. That's the thing, is you ban Hibana now, it just means more Maverick play, something you're seeing a lot more of this season. I expect the second half of the season is going to be, again, starting to roll for Maverick.
Well, that hatch finally opened up into CCTV, and flashbangs come out, trying to clear out any ADSs that Joystick has placed throughout the objectives, and they're waiting on this server hold to kind of fall back. And Shepard and Joystick both stacked inside of the garage right now. It's an interesting deployment right now. And Joystick is still going for runouts on anyone repelled on the main lobby windows. There's nothing going on over there. It seems like a lack of intel on the side of Team Empire, and the thermite charge will come out onto both server walls into CCTV now. Or no, they won't. I guess that was the evil eye in behind at the bottom of server stairs to wipe that out, so they can't get default plant spot open. And with a minute left, they still have a lot of utility to go for the execute here. They just need to get rid of these evil eyes.
Well, luckily they have all those smokes to work with, but yeah, like you said, those evil eyes are going to be a problem. Not to mention counter smokes coming out as well as potential C4s, and then of course Joystick just springing around at the last second, springing his little trap. But they are setting up to be able to go for some flanks potentially if they need to, as the smokes start to come down and the phone calls to follow it.
Phone calls, smokes, all the utility dumped into the objective, and now Racer will rush straight in all the way onto the CCTV desk and trying to get the plant down. Holding the door from above is Waka. Nitro Cell will miss, and there goes the vault from Shockwave, shut down. The plant gets completed on the desk, but now Racer will choke and suffocate on the gas, leveling things at a 4v4 again, covering the diffuser from up top. This will mean Empire will need to retake up the main stairs, but Ramu shuts one down. Can he shut another one? Karzeka will trade out Mariudu down below. Papilia rotating over towards server stairs as Waka hits the deck and tries to remain protected. Shepard on the diffuser. Telltale signs. He's still sticking this, and he loses the gunfight. 2 seconds away. Shepard's still on, and they'll clutch it out. The counter defuse. The missed shots on the recoil pattern of the SMG-12. Sacrifice round number 1 for NORA-RENGO.
Very impressive getting that plant down despite all the opposition to it, but if you can't cover it, it certainly doesn't mean anything. Great just coverage overall for that retake. That is a hard retake to make unless you can get that top floor flank. The fact that Joystick died trying to go for his flank as well, it made it a little more surprising they were able to pull that off, just because they didn't have a ton of highly mobile players to go running around for it, but just good gunplay winning their shots. A good start here. That was the very first round, and on NORA-RENGO's map, Empire actually taking it despite how strong of a play that was. Impressive, but still so far from a comeback here.
That was an impressive plant spot, honestly, coming out of NORA-RENGO. Not something that we've seen all that commonly, and just an unfortunate situation there for Waka, as he has the SMG-12 out instead of the MK-14, and honestly, if he had the Boss G, he probably would have fared better in that engagement down through the stairs. Karzeka able to land the shot, but the defuse was already 2 seconds away from being completed. It was just an unfortunate series of events. But that will mean that Team Empire acquire the first round on defense, and this will force them on to a new objective, which will be CEO.
Yeah, definitely much harder bomb site to try and sneak a plant in there, especially since a lot of the players are going to be on that top floor. Similar to console, what we see on console in terms of being able to hang out a lot of your players on the top floor on that bomb site without having to do a ton of roaming. I gotta imagine we're still going to see a bit of it. Some drones getting killed as well, trying to do what you can to get cameras in position, because you want as much visibility of that lobby as possible. You also want to have some visibility, preferably, of the windows to make sure if anyone's pressuring the lobby, hanging out from the rappel, you can potentially counter-peek them. But there's also the possibility of runouts from that garage if you want to get really risky. If anyone's rappelling on that side, they are going to try and see if they can get anything going with their rappels first. Castle barricades, going to make that hard to do. They managed to shut down at least a lot of the windows. Yeah, those get shot open easily, but that does give away your position in the process. And of course, as is expected for the site, they have a dock for the bulletproof camera and those long-angle ACOG fights. It's just a question of who wins those, and it could come down to nearly a coin flip.
Darting back and forth is Scyther as he tries to find an angle, and he'll see the shoulder. Oh my, what a shot by Scyther to shut down Mariu. The ash repelled in the front lobby windows will be dispatched of quite swiftly. Beautiful shot there from Scyther on the dock, and he's had a tournament to remember. But now NORA-RENGO will coalesce inside of the main lobby as the first logic bomb will come out and ring apart the phones of all the defenders, and the Valkyrie camera spotted, just waiting for an overextension here as Papilia out on the front west garage ramp windows.
A lot of repelling here. It already cost one player. They need to do something with that. That's just costing them a lot of time at this point. Yeah, we did see Ramu last time playing on the Jackal, holding those long angles. Papilia trying to do the same thing. There's a good start. That phone a little bit exposed. Might not be able to hack it through the smoke. In this case, That's going to give them the progress they need to start to push physically towards the site instead of repelling.
Gotta worry about Karzeka still inside the elevator, and Joystick will take down Ramu. Not sure if he went for the vault out or not, but dropping right now will be Karzeka through the elevator hatch. Looks like it is actually Joystick went for a run out, and he's all the way outside now trying to come back up the sewer tunnel.
So far working out to be a much better bomb site, as the team is not able to find a lot of purchase here from NORA-RENGO. They can't seem to find a lot of kills despite the footprints coming up without. There we go, great teamwork. That is what we needed to see on Consulate.
Waka aiming directly at Shepard inside of the janitor closet. They're holding the same angle at each other. Through a hole, you hear the crowd losing their minds about it, but a fault from Racer will take down one, but Shockwave and Shepard will shut it down. It's back-to-back rounds for Team Empire on an aggressive defensive hold topside.
I think this is what Empire needed, to start on the side that's winning. Starting on the side that was definitely not the favorite side last map from what we saw, definitely cost them a lot of that momentum, but now maybe we will be seeing that comeback that we saw yesterday from Empire. They're going to be getting that momentum up, but this is where we need to see NORA-RENGO doing their thing in terms of keeping their momentum, keeping their spirits up, because this is their map, and you know what, side switch is nowhere near happening at this point. It's only 2 rounds in. But I gotta say, this is the Empire, like I said, we should have been seeing on Consulate in terms of good teamwork. Their ability to play all together on the site like this worked out very well. On both defenses, they're able to stay a lot more stable in a single area, whereas on Consulate, they were too spread out, not able to cover enough angles for the trades, not able to trade for each other. You saw, for example, when the pressure was coming out from the Jackal, comes flying out of janitor closet for the kill. That was an example of what I mean. They need to be in positions where they can protect each other, not just give one-off freebies to NORA-RENGO.
So, third round, third different objective. As Team Empire have been successful in back-to-back defenses, which again will lock out both of them for at least one more round as far as lockers and CCTV is concerned. So Empire will head to Tellers and Archives. Usually the secondary objective, however, we've been seeing a lot of CEO play so far this week.
It's a really good bomb site. It took a while to kind of become meta, something that we see a team that's now Dark Zero, we're kind of one of the teams that helped introduce it, but then once Rogue kind of debuted with a very strong defense on it, it seemed to come into it much more often. It is definitely a bomb site that can be tricky, but depends on operators like Castle to be able to kind of lock up some of those windows and long angles, but then you also have to fight the long angles yourself with a Doc or a Rook block, or even an Echo. In this case, though, we'll see if they have the right utility to make this approach happen. They're going to be bringing that Thermite again, but no Maverick this time for this tech, which means Hatch is maybe not getting opened up. Joystick, unfortunately for him, already taking about half his health in damage.
You see on the stat there that NORA-RENGO has already played and won Bank twice. It's Empire's second most banned map, and yet Empire get off to an early lead. And it's not saying that NORA-RENGO can't bounce back and close this out in a 2-0. It's just that the way the games have been going lately, I imagine this is going 3 maps regardless. And Empire definitely have that resiliency. They demonstrated it against Liquid. Exemplary, and I don't imagine it's going to change today.
Honestly, I don't think you deserve a seat in the finals if you don't have that resiliency. It is just such a prerequisite at this point. Nice opening of the floor there from Wonka as well. Just not finding any angles, though. And this is always the scary part. When you start opening up all these holes, there's a good chance you walk by one of your old ones to find these fingers staring right up and shooting you in the face. This is why Buck sometimes can be a little bit easier to deal with on that, but, you know, different players, different comfort levels of that, but a good grenade is going to send him flying out right into the waiting hands of Mariu.
Beautiful team play there from NORA-RENGO to be a catch-off Shockwave inside of the elevator, and they're playing this alternate strategy here with a sea of barbed wire in the teller's doorway. And there's 3 defenders, but they have sight control. Papillia is in, he's going to walk straight into the room with Shepard into the small office outside of Archives with a rotate through. So NORA-RENGO stacking outside of the teller's desk, and everyone on Empire over by open area. No one actually in the objective. A prone peek shut down by Walker, trying to go for 2. Takes a lot of shots in the process. Mario will fall from a flank from Joystick, leveling at a 3v3. Down to the hatch will Racer go, shooting out the Claymore and the flank drone at the same time. Oh, what a shot by Karzeka! As it was Waka who hit the deck in response. Racer coming up the main stairs, sees the head for a moment, reacts to the pings, levels again. Karzeka on 1 HP, and vaulting over the front desk is Scyther to take down Ramu. Racer on the main stairs. He's got 2 defenders left. both 1 HP. Flashbangs come raining out. Counter defusing now is Scyther on the diffuser, in behind the soft wall. He takes down Karzeka. Still on the diffuser though, in behind the photocopier. Another instance of a man in behind an indestructible surface, long arming the diffuser, and that is 3 straight for Empire.
Just the story of these inadequately covered diffusers. I mean, they had Crossfire initially, but one of those was going to be exposed to the lobby. Honestly, surprised Empire were able to retake it. You saw towards the end, they were all stacked up basically in open area and admin office, completely pushed away from the bomb site, but they had the ability to rotate through the hallway. You also saw them maybe get upstairs. Just their ability to push back quickly, knowing where most of the members were going to be covering that plant, absolutely working out, and in a way, Nora falling into their trap, essentially, but that was a risky play, letting them get that plant down like they did inside Tellers. They've got to be a bit more careful, but that was clearly not their primary or secondary bomb site, that was their tertiary. So not a big deal, they could come back again, and they did manage to win that either way because they were able to get the defuse down, or the disarm of the defuse down. But this is where it gets, again, hard for Nora. They were able to get plants down multiple times now, but just not able to cover it adequately.
They were able to get the plant down off a unique plant spot on top of the CCTV desk when attacking this objective in the very first round, and they were also caught off guard by that evil eye at the bottom of server stairs, and Shepard relocated this time into server. Again, trying to hide it in the corner and keep it out of the purview of any drones taking a casual glance through server, but anyone looking a little harder than that will be able to spot it out in behind the rack.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be the case where they're not putting any IQ or anything that's going to be able to spot those things ahead of time, but with Echo Band, it's not as mandatory in terms of making sure you don't get delayed on the actual plant. We've seen Nora can execute on the plant, even if there's C4, Evil Eyes, and smokes left. It's just a case of whether or not timing works in their favor, but not so for Mario as Joystick, shutting him down. It's not quite Waka, but it's his best, or closest equivalent.
Well, Papilia will immediately be able to find the footsteps of Joystick as he retreats down the south stairs. So that'll be an end momentarily for Joystick's roaming, and he'll head back to Garage, seemingly his favorite spot so far on Bank. But considering Empire banned Bank quite a lot, as it is their most banned map in the last recent history, I'm surprised that he's still maneuvering the map with such ease when there's constantly a Jackal coming out on the side of NORA-RENGO. And honestly, there's been a Jackal and a Dokkaebi in consecutive rounds too, and he's still getting away with what he does best. It's
honestly confidence. That's what works so well for him. That's why he makes him such a highlight player when he makes his plays, because it's just very, I don't know how else to describe it, but ballsy moves. And he manages to get away with them more often than not. But I gotta imagine also, yes, they banned the heck out of this map, which meant Empire have shown nothing of Bank, and NORA-RENGO have shown a ton of Bank. And I gotta imagine that is seriously factoring in here, because knowing the enemy's attack strats and how they push absolutely plays into players' favors like Joystick, because he's able to know where can I move mostly safely, where can I get away with picking on to the entry players like he did on the Mario, and they're capitalizing on that round after round, even in retake scenarios.
The tough spot to be in right now if you're NORA-RENGO. There's about a minute remaining in the round, and Waka and Reysa will peruse their way into servers. They'll be detected by the cardiac sensor and the evil eye, but here comes Waka to dispatch of that. Thankfully, no more exothermic charges will be destroyed on walls that are necessary for default plants. But even with the wall open, the default plant has been hotly contested multiple times over on multiple bank games this week, and Shepard in a perfect spot to stall this out.
Yeah, this is an angle that was talked about quite a bit before. A very useful one for a Maestro, especially, gets to take those quick picks, because he can continue to pre-fire that spot. He doesn't need to go full auto, just pre-fire it for a while. This is where Pulse needs to do his job, though, in making the calls so they can make the plays as they need to and not overuse utility.
Time running out on the clock, 20 seconds remaining. It's a 4v5 right now for NORA-RENGO. They need to get this plant down. Reysa continuously trying to press in for default, but unable to get it going. Finally, a Nitro Cell, though, will launch out, and Reysa will die to his teammate Waka. No! Shockwave able to vault over the desk to safety. There's 2 seconds left. Waka needs to get this plant down. There's no time. It's 4 in a row for Empire. The Russian machine on a comeback.
Well, so far we've shown both maps to be fairly defender-sided. We saw Nora taking a lot of defensive rounds on Consulate, and we are seeing quite the same from Empire here on Bank. It wasn't quite enough of a comeback on their defense on constant to save it, but this is a good start. The important thing is getting that early point advantage gives you a lot of slack when the side switch comes out to try and adapt to the defenses you're trying to pick apart. Lets you be a little more flexible on attacks, and Waka team killing one of his teammates is also certainly not going to help things in trying to come back and get at least the last 2 points on their attack.
You can see them talking it out right now. Well, actually, we can. Those of you at home can't. But everyone in the arena can, as we have the face cams up 24/7. And it looked like Waka and Racer were talking out what happened, why it happened. They laughed it off. And that's kind of the positive spirit, the jovial energy that NORA-RENGO bring. They can laugh a lot of those mistakes off pretty easily.
Yeah, I gotta imagine, they've been so close to making some of these executes. The difference maker is whether or not you get frustrated or motivated by the fact that you've actually been able to pull off many of them, and the mistakes were yours to make. You own them, and you can improve, as opposed to saying, oh, you know, I got messed up by this or messed up by that, like we were so close, what a bummer. Maintaining the positive element of it, like, wow, we almost did that, we could do it. That's the important takeaway from each of those rounds. But losing 4 of them, it is hard to smile a little bit after that, I gotta say, because so many of those were retakes, where they even got the plant down and just could not cover it adequately. And that's starting to become a theme across both maps here for both teams. Is, like you said, those indestructible surfaces, the long arming, finding angles where you can defuse successfully, because a lot of the defenders, or the attackers, their positions are being known on those retake scenarios, and they're able to either fight them or just avoid being picked off by them.
Back to CEO, Empire will go as they've run it up on the scoreboard right now. 4 rounds in a row, 4 successful defenses on Bank, which is a little out of the norm, honestly. Bank is trending towards more of an attacker-sided map, but still slightly defender-sided overall. Oh, what a shot by Mario through the railings onto Scyther. Mario unstoppable now as I guess he's getting sick of Joystick shutting him down every time he comes in the building.
Can you blame him? Certainly not fun to deal with. And that is the dock off the board. Not a huge loss of utility, but it is definitely an ACOG lost, and the only one they had on the team, which means long angle a bit safer now. Flash is coming out to try and make this approach. Something we've seen a lot of from players this weekend is flashing up the stairs or using the light flanks to try and pressure your way up to Banana.
All those punch holes use distraction and just a bunch of different options to use. Almost cost the life of Shockwave as the pre-fire from Mario almost connected on the head as he was rushing by. But he'll make it out. The drone, though, being shot, and Jackal Ping's coming out. Joystick, though, gonna shut down Race Hill again, and Joystick on these flanks. A lot of control, and there's another man downstairs for the defending side of Team Empire.
Jackal Track's not really doing anything for him either, as Arjeka just sitting in place, not needing to defend against that Jackal Ping. It's been wasted, but Ramu does find a nice angle on the shock anyways from the window.
See the window repels again from Ramen. The stun cancer's coming out. The push from Mario down Banana Hallway. Are we looking at our first successful NORA-RENGO round as Joystick will fall? Shepard alone in the janitor closet once again. Shuts down Papilia for 1. He's got a soft wall right in front of him though, and the plant is going down by Waka directly beside the B bomb. On a soft wall, holding his cutoff rotate is Ramu. Plant gets completed by Waka, so it's a 1v3 and a diffuser retake scenario for Shepard to work his way out of. Lots of missed shots against that soft wall outside of the conference room and the long table, and everyone on NORA-RENGO remaining quite static as Shepard. No progression here, no momentum, and no real access to be able to maneuver the site with ease as he's cut off from these influential windows, and it'll be Ramu upside down on the rappel. Hear the roar of the crowd as NORA-RENGO is able to bring one back.
Well, I think they finally realized on the CEO attack, the windows on the other side, not the ones to be playing, the windows right close to the bomb site there, that is the ones to be playing on. Absolutely paid off for them. They put so much pressure on that side once they were able to get it, and just completely deny and lock him into janitor closet at that point. Good crossfires as well. Much, much better plant coverage that time, but also a great way to cover his exit from there, so he had nowhere to go at that point. And finally, a retake scenario not working out for Empire. Gonna stop the momentum, but there's still one more defensive round they get, and they still get to go back to CEO if they want. Cannot go back to lockers, though, is the important thing for NORA-RENGO.
Well, Team Reciprocity also getting some food in as they're in the audience watching possibly one of the teams they might face in the finals if they can make it past G2 later today.
Eat and study.
Eating and studying.
Gotta get that gamer fuel in.
It definitely seems like Empire have done their homework on Bank as far as stratting out NORA-RENGO, because as you said, there's a lot of tape out there on Nora on Bank, and there's not a lot of tape for Empire on Bank, and they seem to have the strats down, at least on the defensive side, and like I said, it's a little contrary to the norm right now. Bank has been trending more attacker-sided as the days and weeks and months go on. However, we could just see this entire map be defender-sided and NORA-RENGO run it back and push overtime, but right now Empire with a perfect position to finally take a 5-1 lead into the half instead of being down 5-1 in the half.
To be fair, it is looking attacker-sided in the sense they're getting the plants down fairly consistently, which is, I mean, that is an attacker-sided thing. It's just their inability to defend it afterwards that's making it look defender-sided, because they're not picking off enough players, and because Empire are actually playing very smart about how they defend it. Just unfortunately, last round for Shepard, he was caught all off on his lone. Ramu maybe gonna get another early pick. Certainly look like a potential, nope, it's gonna be potentially through a reinforced wall. Gonna stop those shots, but not a big deal here as they're gonna look to try and pick again through those windows, I imagine, to get any free kills they can, or at least a lot of pressure. They've got to try to take down Scyther early, though, because that really helped last time. Taking down the ACOG early gave them the ability to play a bit more pressure from the long angles across the site.
Shockwave is cheese grating open that wall again as he just continuously pushes as many punch holes into that wall as possible. Bulletproof camera this time for Scyther deployed to watch the spiral stairs. That was the point at which he died, trying to peek out onto the spiral stairs last time. It was a beautiful threading of the needle by Mariu to remove the head of Scyther, that influential ACOG operator holding down the top of the stairs. We've got a man inside of the elevator again. It's Karzeka on the Valkyrie with an ADS in place and the hatch most likely open to drop. It's been this backside take from NORA-RENGO that's been the norm for them, at least attacking CEO. They don't really push from top square at all, have any control or breach open any hard walls on the far side near square stairs.
No, it's definitely taking control of that banana in the small office leading into it. They're able to push it in from the window side, just put all the pressure on one side, shut everyone off to the other side, but Scyther denying Mariu there is going to slow things down a bit. Getting some good use out of that ACOG in that position you were talking about with cameras, followed up by Papilia for a trade on joystick, so that back flank there not going to help.
If you're NORA-RENGO, you feel pretty good about that, but you've missed Karzeka, Joystick's partner, even from the grave, on the flank, about to come up spiral stairs with possibly 3 targets awaiting him at the top, and Scyther continuing his reign of terror inside of the small office, and Karzeka through the bars again, dropping down, will be Waka to trade it out. They're running low on time and running low on manpower. It's just Waka alone coming up the spiral stairs, back and forth on the other side of a hard wall. Shockwave landing the majority of the shots in this contest, and 30 seconds remain for Waka to kill all 3, or at least put down the plant and protect it in the overtime.
At least he has a diffuser, but so many people fight, so much health, and potentially smokes on board as well to deny him out. Looks like at least 1 canister left.
Doesn't look like it's gonna go very well for Waka here, as he could actually use one of these stim pistols from Scyther. Slow goings here. He's just proning his way all the way in through banana hallway. It's 3 on the round for Scyther on the dock, and that'll end the half with Empire up 5-1.
How do you come back from getting 7 forward on your own map to just destroy the first 6 rounds? It's just phenomenal. I mean, it took them to map 3 to really see Empire get this momentum yesterday. Whatever they did between the 2 maps to get themselves reset absolutely worked. However, as we've said many times, and we'll probably continue to say just because it's been continuing to be a trend, sides switch now, and that absolutely could turn the tables. You talk about when Joystick is able to play on Jaeger, that usually makes a huge difference. He did get shut down a lot on that Jaeger play, but despite that, the rest of the team coming together to cover each other, their ability to play together on their bomb sites, the big difference maker, in my opinion. They may not be playing as much together on attack, and I think this is where NORA-RENGO could again exploit the fact that they often have people alone or in positions where they're not adequately covering each other. So this is a huge opportunity for NORA to turn this back around by just exploiting that. And they're going to bring one thing that, Empire are going to bring one thing that NORA didn't bring, which is that IQ, which will help a little bit with spotting out possibly even the pulse or those black eyes earlier could also help with a little bit of roam clear along with that jackal. But it is not a huge thing to bring here in terms of stopping a lot that's going to deny the plant for you.
NORA-RENGO going to have to be near perfect trying to claw this back and round this out in a 2-0 fashion, or they'll replicate some of what Empire did, which was bring a couple rounds back, make it kind of close, ultimately sputter out, and we go to map 3. Similar to what happened yesterday between Empire and Liquid.
I would still be a bit concerned about Empire on Coastline just because they did show some weakness on it that Liquid were able to exploit. I gotta imagine Nora would be looking to exploit some of those same weaknesses, and we would hope that Empire shored those up. But it is definitely going to be interesting to Cider if it gets to that point. However, we'll see. I mean, this is just the start of the defenses for Nora, and they are going to be able to play as turtled up potentially as Empire did, just forcing them to burn time without a lot of early picks.
Drones coming out with the downstairs defense for NORA-RENGO to begin things, and no real shocks, no real surprises awaiting Team Empire. The Jack coming out for Joystick instead of the Ash of his own volition, which is a little strange considering he loves his Ash and only really swaps the Jackal when it's banned. But it's bank. You kind of want the Jackal for your roam clear just to expedite things, knowing that no one has rotated up and hit in a corner that you've missed on a drone.
To be fair, he's also not been a terrific Jackal on many maps.
No.
Something that we've criticized before in the past, but I would love to see that change here and have this be, like I said, a map where he shines on it just because of how necessary it is on this map. And it's just down to he needs to stop getting killed early. But so far, almost a minute and a half of the round, he's not dead, so kudos to him.
Yeah, no, Necrox was a better Jackal last night than Joystick's ever been, and he was in the grave in about a minute every round. So that tells you what his, at least, Jackal proficiency is, and Waka's still holding the server stairs. Jackal ping's coming out now downstairs inside a server onto Mariu, and Waka, I believe that's a Spaz 12, if I read the scoreboard correctly. I do. It is a Spaz 12, point blank range.
Oh, typical play for it, but the hatch being open now means pressure could potentially come from the backside. C4s could also get thrown up from the pulse, but the Jackal peeking means they know where he's at. Cider, though, the first to fall, he did his job, though, and got hatches open as he needed to. Not a big deal. He wasn't bringing a ton of utility that was necessary outside of that. But they still need to take down the Valkyrie up on the stairs. And there goes another player. Shockwave for the next one to fall.
Harzeka missing the rotate in behind the server rack, and he's holding the diffuser, and this is stalling out for Team Empire now. Trying to collect some hatch control and anyone on the rotate back, but NORA-RENGO have no need to push back. Pushing out with the Spaz 12, taking a lot of damage, but dealing the same amount as Shepard. Drop below 20, pushing into server stairs. Mariu with another one onto Harzeka. That's the diffuser lost in the stairwell, and it's all an onslaught in here in this stairwell. Shepard will finally clean one back onto Waka, pushing down the stairs. There's another man holding at the bottom. Mariu will down him off. It's Joystick alone now. In a 1v4, cleaning it up. NORA-RENGO on a bounce back, and the crowd erupts.
What a defense. I love the pulse play. Once he was done being pinged by the Jackal, he set up in a position absolutely ready for the hatch drop to come against his teammate. They spent so much time fighting and trying to use those server stairs, completely denied, even when it finally had a chance at the end, too little too late. And that right there is why you see so many people so focused on holding server stairs. Certainly cost them. They might even consider the old vault drop just because so many teams now have gotten so proficient holding it. A lot of energy now coming out for NORA-RENGO to power up the recharge. The coach doing his best as well to keep us entertained. I gotta admit, while I love Empire, I do enjoy the NORA-RENGO interviews.
The interviews are probably one of the best things about them. And that's honestly a great shot there from Papilia. I thought it was a flank up the main stairs, but no, he just awaits the hatch opening and fires straight on through. And beautiful play, like you said, inside the server there from NORA-RENGO. That's got to be a momentum booster and a confidence booster for NORA-RENGO on that one, considering they've been having a bad time so far, at least on their attacking side.
Yeah, I gotta imagine we could see that swing back here, because there's not a lot that they could really bring on Empire that's going to be a huge game changer for that. But CEO was a little bit of a struggle sometimes in terms of it having a lot of openness compared to lockers. But in this case, that was what we saw from Empire as well, just that ability to stay up here and use the angles they can set up to their advantage. They are going to be bringing a Doc and a Rook, going with the double ACOGs. So it is something that could work in their favor if they lose one of them, because we saw how important it was sometimes if the Doc was lost, which I believe was Scyther playing on the defensive rounds for Empire. Could be a huge difference maker. the utility coming out in terms of the Maverick and the Thermite, depending on how the take is going to go down, may or may not be important to that. If they go for a take on the square skylight side, as we were talking about earlier, that could be very important. If they're not, it's not going to be a huge difference maker because you don't need a ton of walls to blow open unless they're trying to come from, say, conference room into janitor or some of the other angles if they're not already opened up as rotates by NORA-RENGO.
I find it interesting that Waka is on the smoke of all roles. It's not one we commonly see him on, but at least in this specific hold on this specific site, Waka will be facilitating the smoke roll inside of the janitor closet, one of the most crucial points to hold on this CEO defense. You don't want to allow them in there to start breaching open and have access to not only your conference room hold, which will repel any of your elevator hallway push, but also the objective CEO up against these hard walls that Shockwave is now blown up in the right-hand portion of, and an impact came soaring in the left side from Raycel, so just guessing the sound wrong on which side was being breached open, and Karzak will start things off onto Papillia.
Very impressive start. They were about a minute in when they got the walls open, then following that up with a kill onto one of the ACOGs is going to really start to open up the side here, but Shockwave needs to hold his own while the team goes for flanks to set up for this plant. They do have at least the one set of smokes that will help out with that, along with some utility from Zofia to try and fire some of those lifelines in. But Shockwave needs to stay alive, or this starts to become a flank position to come out from NORA-RENGO, so he's just going to have to hold as long as possible. He also is going to be the one to go for the plant once those smokes come out. His joystick needs to stay alive long enough to make the smokes come out, but again, he's on Jackal and lived so long into the round and helped Shockwave to shut down poor Raycel.
Raycel was in a hell in a cell and really had nowhere to go and finally cut off by Shockwave. And Shockwave is now going to try putting down the diffuser in the midst of smoke, and he's not choking on the toxic gas. Mario, though, will claim one victim. Ramu will fall, though. A 2v4 post plant for NORA-RENGO to push out of, unless they end up on match point. Mario with one, but Scyther on the immediate refrag. It's a lone Rook inside of the depths of the executive lounge for Mario to push out. Trying to regain control over the diffuser itself. A drone covering and many repels coming out on the side of Team Empire. There's too many to go for the vault, as even if he claimed one life with the first vault, he would fall to the second. And Scyther, the protection, the redundancy on the windows. Empire, map point to send us to 3.
That certainly is the difficulty in dealing with that site. If you have people out on the windows and there's even one of them, that could be enough to stop you, because if you vault out, you pretty much cannot get back in time. And being a Rook, certainly not going to help with that. NORA-RENGO, though, deciding we should not be losing our map, going to be calling their timeout. As it's going to be their chance to kind of recollect themselves, because they have only lost the one round on defense. They managed to win the other one. Totally doable. But I feel like when we saw Empire losing on their defenses, it was more often than not on their third bomb site. So NORA-RENGO looking like they struggled a lot more on CEO. That's going to be a potential problem here, as now NORA-RENGO sitting, or I'm sorry, Empire sitting on match point, or map point rather, I guess. Does mean there's a very good chance, as you said earlier, that we see that map 3. But we saw NORA-RENGO take a while to finally seal their map point deal as well, as they'd gotten that good lead, but took a couple of rounds to close it out to take it to map 2. So could also have a few rounds here where NORA-RENGO are able to bring it back for joystick, for Empire, could try and close it out to the next map, which will be a very interesting decider should we get there. But I do think there's definitely a possibility we could see a full enough swing back. We see the slight smirk there on Karzeka's face. Not wanting to look too happy, but certainly feeling a lot better about this map.
Like you said, should Empire take a round away, we'll head to map 3, which is Coastline, which definitely trends toward the side of NORA-RENGO, considering Empire's struggles on it. I'm interested to see, though, how the Coastline would break down, and I imagine we're going to head there. I don't really see NORA-RENGO being able to pull this back. 4 consecutive to push overtime and winning the majority of the rounds in OT. It's a tough task, and they're going to go back to CEO as well, a site they just lost. And Empire seem to have the book on bank on NORA-RENGO throughout on either side of the game.
I gotta say, some of that's down to just a fast execute we saw last when they managed to push in so soon in terms of getting the wall open and then pressure and then smoke for the plant. That was absolutely fantastic play in terms of just being able to push them away from the site quickly and just taking advantage of anyone
10 seconds
falling for
remaining.
the same things that they fell for, basically, which is the window. So the window play seemed like a big problem for both teams in terms of how do we defend against this, because we don't have anyone able to really stay in the lobby for any kind of angles. There's very few angles you can get to try and take anyone out on those. You need people almost ready for jump outs early that are faster speed operators that might be able to get away with it, get back down into sewers and rotate around. But you need a 3-speed to pull that off, or it's just going to be very, very tough to have that turn into anything but a trade.
Joystick still on his favorite PDW Jackal, and he's looking to repel on these windows once again. And 50 bullets, high rate of fire, not a lot of recoil. It's a pretty good position to be on the repel. And Empire last time, they smothered NORA-RENGO. They locked him down from every single angle, and there was no better description of that than poor Racil, who was stuck in the banana hallway, stuck between a triple crossfire. 3 different directions, 3 different repels. It was not a fun time for him, and all of NORA-RENGO got to experience that at one point or another in the round.
It is similar to Consulate, where we do see them setting up very good crossfires from the outside. Once they're able to get actual pressure on the site, that is, I do think, is where Empire are doing well. Something we saw a little bit from them on Consulate. It's dealing with roamers they struggle more with, but it doesn't seem like, when it comes to CEO at least, that is anywhere near a problem for them. The roamers just cannot seem to get close. I would like to see maybe potentially a C4 throw to try and stop Shock, whether it be from in sight or even down from the square skylight lobby right there, to try and get a play onto him, or at least pressure him into a position where a teammate could go for shots, because letting him sit up there waiting for plant is really costing them. Ramu not able to do a ton from down here.
No, he's got the cardiac sensor on 2. One holding flank in the middle of the square, and Joystick will shut down Mariu. Second one, Shockwave at the top, looking to press into the objective. Still holding from Skylight. Empire have 2 people inside the building, and they're about ready to go for a site execute and try and get a plant down. Shots back and forth between a soft wall. Neither will land a lethal blow, and a toxic bait from Walker will repel Shockwave on his initial progress into the site, at least momentarily for the next 10 seconds. Walker being able to chain these together, won't be able to burn out the entirety of the clock. And this drone downstairs on Ramu, it's perfectly read now by Shockwave. Gonna look through these kill holes. The cardiac sensor giving away his position, and this is enough to stall out with the calls coming out. Karzeka will drop Ramu to 25. Shepard will clean it up. Racil will fall as well. Inside of the janitor closet, though, Walker will stop the plant. But he's got to hold out for 30 seconds with Papilia in a 2v4. We're going to coastline.
Great holdout by Waka.
Inside of the janitor closet, and it looks like Papilia is dancing around at the top of the spiral staircase. Joystick at the top of Banana, and he'll shred right through Papilia. Waka takes down 1, but Scyther will end it. Empire able to come back after a dominating performance by NORA-RENGO on Consulate. They replicate one of their own on Bank. We're going to coastline.
Certainly even better of a lead against NORA-RENGO's map. 7-2 versus the 7-4 on Consulate. Fantastic play by Empire, showing once they got that momentum at the start of the round, rather than being trying to play catch-up. Something we were talking about it when we were casting that yesterday, is how often they were playing that catch-up. Not so much on that map, and that is really a big difference maker. We saw them really steamroll map number 3 though against Liquid. I can't imagine we're going to see a repeat of that though. I think this is going to be a bit more back and forth on map 3 as opposed to just kind of one team steamrolling the other, whether that be NORA-RENGO or Empire. So far, though, a very, very good match between these 2.
Well, the big difference between that game and this one is that the Liquid Empire game, map 2, was very grindy. It was very close. It was very draining mentally. This, not so much. This is a map to forget for NORA-RENGO and a map to hold on to as far as momentum is concerned for Team Empire, considering you just rolled the team that rolled you on a map that you chose. So each team losing their map pick.
Yeah.
Not the most common thing, especially in this format where only 2 bans are happening before you can pick. Boys on the desk, our analysts, let us know what you think about this.
Yeah, I'll give you a piece of my mind, Flynn, in just a second. Myself and the analysts here have been watching this matchup fairly closely, and guess what? 4-7 victory for, well, a loss for Empire on map number 1. Consulate, 7-2, and they bring it back on Bank. Guys, were you expecting that, or was it the complete opposite?
I think we were both expecting the Consulate to favor NORA if any of the maps were going to do it. Sure, NORA's strong on Bank, but this, like, steady structured playstyle from from Empire. Like, as soon as they went on attack, NORA just didn't have enough defense round to even try and get a counter going, right? We only saw the 2 top floor ones, and there wasn't a lot of adaptation there. They tried to play the pulse below, but he got droned out, pre-placed drones, and done.
Yeah, I agree to some degree. I personally was expecting a better performance on Bank from NORA-RENGO. I think that Consulate is one that NORA are very good at, but it's not necessarily out there, and Empire didn't know that, so perhaps they got a bit more of a run for their money on map number 1, but I think the same was true for the opposite, for NORA-RENGO on map number 2.
Yeah, we'll dig a bit deeper into the details for this one. Consulate, how did NORA actually be able to get that edge over Empire? Because time and time again, we saw Empire, well-oiled machine, admin take every single time, unstoppable until they hit NORA-RENGO.
Let's be fair, there was a lot of individual plays for this, or at least the Consulate game, where certain players carried for a full round and then it kept swapping forth and back. We saw it with Rama.
Yep. Oh, yes.
Especially one of the basement plays. It would have been an ace if a Maestro Cam didn't take the down guy, so...
We'll court it a technical ace, right?
Well, I mean, Iwaka and Ramu together, they had, 22 kills by round number 8, which is the same as the entire of the Empire lineup. And at that point, we were looking at a pretty dominant scoreline already. Throughout the game, I completely agree with you. It was a lot of individual plays making the difference. So there was the effective ace from Ramu on the basement when he was playing with the UMP. And there was, of course, Waka's amazing ninja defuse on that lobby. That certainly had our hearts in our throats.
It was a complete oversight.
Yeah, let's be fair, that should not have happened. That was Empire's throw.
Yeah, it was a 2v1 or a 3v1 in that situation. The Zofia was in complete control, and then, all right. And you saw it even with the camera pose right after. They're like, I don't know, just gave it to us.
That was a 3v1. Joystick died on the stairs, I think, and then you had 2 people that were simply too far away, and they planted too tight in the corner that they couldn't get an angle quick enough. It should not have happened. That was a misplant. It was bad communication from them as well, and then it was quite a backbone on him to just stick it.
Yeah, I think they planted in that position, not expecting the defender to come back and defuse it from the door side, but more from a more exposed angle in the lobby itself, instead of being close to the door. And yeah, it's something you should be expecting at that point. You know what's going to happen. You should have a drone in that position if it was available. But that was map 1. Empire fell on that. NORA-RENGO, very good control on Consulate. We'll go to Bank. You guys expected this to go the way of Empire. We were expecting a map 3 to come in, but did you see this going to a 7-2 complete control for Empire?
I think most of the fault is that with NORA starting on attack and not getting anything done, they don't really have time to start adapting and trying some of the crazy stuff against Empire's attack. So if you don't win enough rounds there and you don't commit and adapt to, for example, their top floor, the Skylight take quick enough, they did the exact same thing twice in a row.
Yeah.
Kasaka in the main lobby, we have joystick on the window, the opening of the exact same wall every time, same plant. They tried a little bit in terms of counter, but didn't get anything through.
Round by round, Empire were always one step ahead in terms of information gathering, and I was a bit worried on the first attacking half for NORA-RENGO. That position when they were doing that lobby take onto the top floor CEO office, and there was someone playing an elevator. They threw flashbangs, they threw frag grenades, but they didn't know whether there was actually a player there or not. The first drone goes in, gets shot, they think, okay, there's a player in there. But we saw time and time again a player drop out of that hatch to dodge that grenade, and NORA-RENGO's still worried about that angle. While you're worried about that one angle, you're exposed to another numerous crossfires from the other side, and that really stilted out NORA-RENGO. They have performed really well just off the cuff. So there was a flank from Karzeka coming up to the lobby based on information. That gets 1 kill, and NORA-RENGO were good enough to quickly trade that, but they have no teeth when there's no intel to fuel it.
And that's the thing, they started off, they're trying to capitalize on the information as soon as humanly possible. And Empire kind of read the message and just dropped away, baiting them into these positions. And then flanks. Yeah, you get a trade, but maybe you lose an important operator in that position. Guess what? You're not going to be able to use the utility correctly or at all. Later on in the round, you have to worry about that. And if you get picked off bit by bit, yeah, sure, you lose like a Jaeger or whatever as a defender, but that doesn't really matter for the end game, because you want your important technical operators to survive on the site. By that, operators that are bringing C4, operators, in this case, not the Echo, but Echo would fit within that. Now, for you, Alex, the Habana ban on Bank, did it play any role here against NORA?
I don't think it mattered too much. Nora's attack didn't seem like Hibana would have saved that. There's still Maverick in play. If you want to get the hatches open, you can still do that. And it's not your most common way of opening mirror windows. There's other ways to deal with that, on bank at least. I think most of it just comes down to the fact that the defend attack swap, right? We saw Nora do the server hold on their first defense. They won that round, but then you have bomb site lock and they go twice on top floor and don't get anything done there.
Okay, closing thoughts, gentlemen. Coastline, you look at this, Dev Marta, we saw the amount of damage that Nora did in the past on it versus teams like Rogue. How does this go in your mind?
NORA-RENGO have fallen behind on map number 2 because they went back into the very, very old habit, I'm talking of over a year ago, that they did have of not having this confidence and not being willing to adapt on a moment's notice. And I think that if they can get over that, they can rile themselves up, we see some Kazoku dancing, then this is going to be a NORA-RENGO game. Otherwise, I wouldn't be too surprised to see Empire straight into the grand final.
And for you, Alex?
I think they have a good chance. I think Nora has a really good chance here. If they can get their mindset back in it, then I'm with Nora in this one.
All right, well, I wonder who the crowd is within here in Montreal. So, ladies and gentlemen, NORA-RENGO versus Team Empire. One more map, and it's down to sunny Spain. Enjoy, Flynn and Amstar.
Thank you, Milos. Thank you, boys on the desk. We are almost ready to get underway with map number 3 in our first semi-final of the 6 Invitational. Winner of this map, first to get to 7 in regulation, or 8 in overtime.
I could see this going to overtime with these guys. I mean, I would hope it's not a steamroll like the first 2 maps kind of have been in terms of one team just getting a lot of momentum on their particular side and the sides which not making enough of a difference, because that's been the story of the last 2 maps despite it being each other's maps. But in this case, Empire, though, have a lot to work on, as we saw yesterday, whereas NORA-RENGO maybe don't as much, but you could have said the same about Bank, and we saw Empire taking advantage of all the footage of NORA-RENGO on Bank. Could do the same about Coastline. This is definitely a good map for them normally, but like I said, can be used against them. And what you heard on the desk as well, they need to get their mentality straight to be able to bring this. Empire, though, need to show that adaptation as well, because we're seeing them just adapting smartly sometimes, but other times just really being able to get away with the same things multiple times in a row, which is surprising from NORA-RENGO, just not shutting it down, because they seem to be the more adaptable team and just losing too many gunfights.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, map number 3 is underway. Coastline between NORA-RENGO and Empire, the winner of this game, to the grand final against G2 or Team Reciprocity. Tomorrow in a best of 5 with infinite overtime on every map.
Some typical bans coming out here. So no Ying or Glass, something that neither of them really wants to deal with, so really just kind of helping each other at that point. Echo again gonna be banned out, so will Empire go for the typical ban? I gotta imagine it's gonna be pretty much what we've seen the ban time and time again.
Last one coming out inside of Team Empire, and big shock, it's Mira. The Ying and Mira bans.
Definitely getting a little predictable with these bans, and that could be something that can be used against them, but well, this is the last map for NORA-RENGO to do so, but it also means it's just gonna come down to minor differences in operator choices. We haven't seen a huge variety between the 2 teams in terms of operators they bring. Just 1 or 2 operator differences. It's just down to whether or not they execute the same way on the site. Hookah now just becoming such a primary bomb site, something we've seen a lot over this week as well, and I imagine we'll continue to see throughout this match, but it'll be down to whether or not teams can really execute on that plant, because it is so difficult to plant default spot when so many teams have been able to cover it. And we saw planting on Hookah was the deciding thing that eventually sent EG packing, just because the ability to cover it from the tarp, something we honestly don't see enough of on the attacks for Hookah.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they
Hookah
can.
and Billiards defense to start things off, with Empire starting on the defense themselves, and that's where they started on the bank. And honestly, it was a very, very solid run for them on bank to start things off. But different map, different story, and a few different operators coming out from NORA-RENGO. We got the Jackal again. Coastline joysticks rotation options will be quite limited in comparison to maps like Consulate and Bank that were played previously in the series. So He's more likely going to be standing and fighting and trying to go for a very surprise flank, and he's going to have to take advantage of NORA-RENGO slipping up on their coverage. If NORA-RENGO can continuously keep flanks in the back of their mind, they should be able to shut down Joystick on the flank.
Well, the upside is he does have the Jaeger as an actual option now. Also, that means ADSs are available. So, yeah, the first map curse seems to have been a big thing here. Seeming like if you lose the first map, you tend to seem to win. And it's just maybe it's that comeback attitude, like I was talking about, that resiliency that I think is the big separator between the winners and the losers. And that is something that both teams are going to have to think about here in terms of whether or not they can carry whatever momentum they established earlier forward, because Empire, if that stat continues to be true, would be the victors here.
Well, the only team who didn't win the first map and then lose their series in the quarters yesterday was NORA-RENGO against Fnatic. They won 2-0. Everyone else pulled the comeback off after losing map number 1. So NORA-RENGO breaking that trend yesterday and not losing the second map. Now they have lost the second map after being victorious initially. Like you said, the resiliency is going to have to be the determining factor here for NORA-RENGO. We know Empire has it, but Nora need to stay in this. They've gone through deep games already. They've had 3 mappers against Penta twice. It's surprising, honestly, how many maps and how many rounds they've played. Free Fire's coming out from Ramu, just barely missing the lethal connection on the head for Shockwave as he darts back over into Hookah, now playing aggressive up inside of the benches.
It's interesting how much downstairs control they're actually taking here with the diffuse plant. And that shows me that they're thinking about planting up through cool 5, sneaking into Hookah, but Joystick shuts down 1, and Ramu on the trade back on to Shockwave. It's gonna soften up Hookah a bit there, but now Joystick being tracked on low health.
Joystick, while being jackal-tracked, able to facilitate a flank side, taking a lot of damage from the balcony, though, from Ramu, lasing in with that M762. So you got 2 extremely hurt defenders on the side of Empire, and one, oh my, a long, ambitious run out for Joystick, not going to connect out of the office. Shepard, though, will shut down Raysil as he tried to push in through Aquarium into the objective. Papilia pushing up Cool Vibes. He hears the phone of Scyther ringing out on his corner, but he's got to run away through the toxic gas. And Joystick, that's 3 on the round for him now. And he'll lock it out. Scyther will close things off, and Empire on a resurgence will take round number 2.
Oh, now you see why Liquid banned Jaeger?
I know how to count.
That's fine. There's a lot of numbers available. Just pick some. So good start, though, for Empire on that defense. And again, defense, so far it seems to be the trend. It was defense on the first map, defense on the second map, and Empire getting to start on defense again. If it goes like Bank, it might not be as long a map as we're hoping here, just because of their ability to get that momentum from those defensive wins for both teams. Joystick, despite that low health, despite being jackal-tracked, despite being phone called, despite being marked as he runs out for a risky play, still gets away with so much. And that's the thing, is knowing where he's at is not even half the battle. Knowing where he's at is half the trap that sees more often, because taking an engagement when he knows you know where he's at, it's most likely just going to end up with you dead. And that's what I was talking about last time. When you're jackal-tracked, do you push him or just try and use that information to play around him at that point?
Well, Team Empire starting things off the way they started Bank off, which was victorious in a round. It looked like they wouldn't be on the defense to start things. So now they head downstairs to Blue Bar and Sunrise Bar as their secondary objective to defend, and this is a lot of reinforcements coming out onto this back courtyard wall from Billiards Bar, but a lot of investment already from utility reinforcements and manpower and map reconstruction top side for Empire as they want to hold from the top down.
Well, again, some of those cameras outside as well could lead to some more runouts like we saw Joystick trying to do before, because a lot of people are going to be stacking up outside that doorway. Could even see Joystick go for a jump out from Hookah window, for example. A lot of plays could be made here. They're going to have to worry about kitchen window as well, the one Ramu opening. That is a big risk as well. You saw some shots coming back through that also. So they're really going to have to cover each other's flanks. And this is where they need to play for a plant with still some kind of manpower advantage, as they have 4 smokes available yet again. They just need to get set up for those. There's really no counter smoke coming out from Empire, as they don't have the Maestro. They don't have, I believe, any bulletproof cameras as well to be able to cover that. So this is all down to C4 and smoke to try and slow things down on that.
The same location where Evil Geniuses met their end last night. A beautiful shot onto Joystick by Waka as he's trying to contest the angle out to Pink Tarp. Waka And a nice clean one tap surgically dispatching of Joystick, and now it's a good advantage here and a very good start shutting down the powerhouse fragger on the Russian machine on the side of NORA-RENGO.
Well, like I said, that's why you play pink tarps a bit more, because the advantage you get from that angle, I mean, unless you're contested well, I mean, obviously that is a problem anywhere you go. But just the fact that you're able to pressure from the doorway and from the side as well. Oh, Papillia, take it down in shock. This has not been a good round for Empire, losing two important players very early. They're gonna have to almost play back to site here at this point to try and defend it, but now we're gonna see Karjeka upstairs, possibly hunted here soon.
This was a mistake that Empire were making yesterday against Liquid as well. It's that, okay, our top hold has been completely killed off. Let's send even more people to go challenge it, but Scyther will win it out on the stairs regardless with a shotgun blast to Papillia's torso, and winning that out and rotating towards Courtyard now. Shepard downstairs and Scyther with another one. He looks into Courtyard and finds Mary, who smokes and phone calls ring out into the objective, but Waka delayed by the toxic gas at the Sunrise entrance by Shepard.
Oh, nice kill by Shepard. This has really turned back from a huge advantage to NORA-RENGO to now a 3v2. There's still smokes available potentially from Waka to be able to do some work here, but a lot of gunfights not working out as Karjeka takes down another. And Shepard to finish it off.
It's a total lockout for Team Empire downstairs as they had the two-man advantage NORA-RENGO did, and it all falls apart. The aggression and honestly the sporadic pushing for NORA-RENGO. Everyone just trying to gun into the objective one at a time.
They had the man lead too with those early 2 kills. They just didn't seem to push coordinated after that to take that top control. Talked about how they overcommit bodies upstairs. That needs to be punished by coordinated pushes to continue to take them out. You see that great pick on the joystick that started things out, and then Papillia following that up into the cool vibe stairs. They should have successfully taken cool vibe stairs at that point. But no, they just kept, like you said, throwing bodies one at a time into the meat grinder, much the same way Empire were starting to do. They seemed to get away with it, especially with that shotgun pick on the stairs that Scyther was able to get away with early, really setting the tone for the second half of that round.
Well, I botched it last time, but maybe I'm just psychic because Empire walked away with round number 2 as well. Now they'll head to Kitchen. Same story as Bank. Winning rounds consecutively on the defensive side, pushing them to a new objective every time. And it's Kitchen now that'll be selected by Empire to try and defend and keep the run going as they're running off that momentum on Bank clearly. And it's working out in spades for them.
Yeah, definitely something when we're talking about that first map curse and the momentum shift and how that's benefiting them, and this has definitely been the case here. But third bomb sites definitely could be a lot weaker than the primary too, so there's definitely a good chance we see Empire, lose this bomb site, but then able to go back to the primary again and not be in a tough spot. That is where you lose maybe 1, maybe 2 rounds on the defense if your primary and secondary are solid. Although to be fair, that did initially look like a NORA-RENGO round until Empire brought it back by just catching them at the right time, and I think that was some of that was misplays by NORA-RENGO as well, though.
Well, also similar to Bank, those look like 2 rounds that NORA-RENGO had in the bag, and all of a sudden it just falls apart at the seams for Nora, and Empire able to bring it back with some excellent individual efforts, and honestly a few misplays from Nora, so they sacrificed the first 2 rounds similar as they did as Bank. They certainly do not want this to get away from them, though. They need to stop Empire's run in its tracks currently, and Papillia entering in through Sunrise with Ramu and taking down the Evil Eye watching their entrance should help facilitate that.
Yeah, so far, whenever they're attacking any bomb site but bar, they've been able to enter into Sunrise fairly uncontested and try and set it up as a bit of a beachhead. But this is attacking the Kitchen where they need to have some better flank positions, or they're really just going to get taken down by that top floor control. But Joystick going to start things off on that, and it's now Zofia down, but he's allowed to just run around outside, and Karjeka the one punished instead.
There's no one around. Joystick still detected. Papillia will finally clean up Shepard inside the objective, and someone from Nora will now turn their attention towards the service door. Papillia in the objective, but Waka will fall, so will Papillia. Dominoes dropping off the board, and a flank coming out from Shockwave will be cut out by Mariu. Looks to Ash open the wall into the objective of Kitchen, and still have Scyther holding down with the Aldo, waiting for Mariu to push through this breach hole he's just fashioned for himself. Drones coming out from Raycel in support. The Free Fires give away his location, but missed shots from Mariu against the soft wall, and Joystick hitting the deck in the service entrance through kill holes in the floor. Look to hold out any flanks. Plant coming down from Raycel as Mariu will cover from the kitchen hallway. Oh, good shots there as Mariu's down to 5 HP. Joystick rushing through, also cut down. Beautiful work there from NORA-RENGO to salvage the round, and the aggression, an overextension from Empire.
A great call by the IGL there on NORA-RENGO to go for the plant. That's absolutely what baited out both of the defenders because they had no angle line set on it. Had they just been trying to take gunfights, I'm pretty confident that NORA-RENGO would have lost that. Not chasing for frags, playing objective, and putting it in a position where you bait them out. Absolutely the right move in a 2v2 that was favorable to both the defenders. Joystick, though, getting away with so much. He practically went for a pool party before they even tried to pressure him, and them trying to counter pressure him actually worked into his favor because teammates then started to use that to try and counterpick them. Just lack of angles there at the end, unfortunately punishing them. Still, a very close round that looked like Empire could take it. As I said, though, third bomb site, no big deal. They now get to go back to their primary of hookah. Unless we see a little bit better attack here from NORA-RENGO, I could still see the Empire running away with this.
So calling the storm early on, as I said, they needed to do. NORA-RENGO bring one back into their corner. They'll have to do it again here. Waka making an op swap. No longer going for the Thatcher or the Dokubi that he's been playing so often in both of these maps against Empire. He'll swap to a Twitch. I believe the first Twitch we've seen in this entire best of 3.
Yeah, it's certainly been one that goes in and out of favor. A lot of times brought for the gun, sometimes brought for the utility, and the fact that the drone itself is very difficult to see and or hear, depending on sometimes actually the skin you're running it on, because the elite skin one a little bit less visible. The sound was turned up a little bit in the previous patch that made it a little bit harder, but at the same time it's still fairly quiet enough that you can sneak it around. And that's a big advantage for some players because you get a fragging operator to play a little bit like Ash, but with the advantage of being able to drone yourself in a little more quietly and leave that drone in some compromised positions where a normal drone might not be able to sneak in. So bringing both the Ash and the Twitch here could work out for Mary and Walk, who often swap off those fragging ops, but they've got to get the intel to match that to get those kills, and they're still bringing that Jackal to try and do exactly that.
A little abstract, but I'm a little worried about Papilia carrying the diffuser if he's going to be playing Jackal. Last time around, it was Racel who had to pick up the diffuser from the dead body of Papilia as well, who was on the Jackal last round. And if you're Papilia, you want to not only track Joystick, but you also want to hunt him down. And carrying the diffuser is going to lead to some compromised situations or just lead you to allow the tracks to rain out and not do anything about it. That's a huge waste of utility if you're not going to convert on knowing where Joystick is. Just bring a friend with you in case it's a bait out.
Honestly, though, now that they're not bringing double set of smokes, you want to keep them alive, but there's a Claymore. Surprisingly not punishing Joystick, but actually Karjeka to go down. And now that it's C4 lost, and attempt at trying to push here for the site. Joystick, though, still allowed on the roam.
That is the same Valcam as last round, and yet NORA-RENGO have overlooked it this time. I guess not expecting that they throw the exact same one. Coming to blows now is Papilia, like I said, with the diffuser, but he does not have a friend. And Joystick going back and forth. It looks like Racel will come in, and he drops the diffuser inside of Hall of Fame to not compromise the positioning of it. Should he lose this gunfight? And Joystick just going to try and kill it some more time here as the Jackal things expire. He tags Racel as he pushes in through the rotate hole in the bathroom to Hall of Fame. And now it looks like Nora want to go for a flush out on the far side to Theater Hallway to try and push through. The stun is not going to work on Shepard, holding the top of the stairs. Same thing with Shockwave. Waka will fall, pushing in. Shockwave as well, the SMG-11 duo. But Racel ripping through. Mary with another one. Suddenly back and forth contest. Leaves it in a 3v2, a 3v1 now for Joystick to work out of. He finds one, lighting up Mario, but can't finish him off. Finally hits the headshot. He's got pings, both attackers inside of Hookah. The diffuser going down now at the door. Pings up against the walls a little too late. As the old spot Racel was on, he knows the plant's going down, and it'll be completed by Racel. Trying to turn the corner. Oh, just missing the head of Ramu, covering in behind the benches. The spray lands one bullet, but they're still extremely high up in health points. They'll take a lot of bullets here, even with the 416 for Joystick to push through them both. Vaulting in through the rotate. They've both evacuated now outside, and Ramu and Racel will cover this. One from the stairs and one from the right side of the balcony. No one exposing themselves. The diffuser will continue to tick away. Cover drones being shot away, one apiece by Joystick. He baits out the sound cover, and one will flank from the right side. What a shot by Joystick, but the good cover by Racel. Excellent teamwork in that post plant. Battling up against Joystick, and that'll level things at 2 apiece.
That was so close to Joystick winning it out with the long arm, just going for that early pick. That was a perfect bait. Unfortunately for him, a lot of angles were working against him. His predictability should have actually worked against him. Just their inability to land the shots or even pre-fire them well enough ultimately was going to cost them. But good teamwork, and it was that coordination, waiting for that timing. He knew he was going to peek someone. It was just a question of how aggressive he got, because Joystick is that aggressor. He is going to expose himself like that. But also a great call on planting inside hookah, something that I feel like teams, again, aren't capitalizing on enough, because more often than not, once a team is locked out of hookah like you see here, it can be very difficult for them to retake it, just because you can have so much outside control. His inability to get in without being compromised through his angles, because you only usually have 2 ways into that room. If you have multiple people left alive, it's very easy to cover both of those. You have one outside to cover the doorway, and you have one on the window, potentially to cover the rotate in, or even behind the couch. And unfortunately for him, that couch absorbed a lot of bullets. But either way, great play by NORA-RENGO, but again, that was so close that I do wonder if they can manage to bring this comeback at all. It is at least, though, 2v2, so neither team has gained a significant lead just yet. But losing hookah just means, of course, they can go back to it. However, they're going to decide not to, and instead go down to bar.
Well, it was a surprising start for Empire taking those first 2 rounds. Again, in situations where it looked like Nora probably should have walked away with it, and we debate and argue about whether or not it should be a 3-1 or a 4-0. The current case is that it's a 2-2, and yesterday against Liquid on Coastline, it was an attacker-sided start for Liquid, and they bulldozed Empire on the attacking side 5-1 heading into the half. Empire this time around seemingly finding their grip, at least in recovering from lost early portions of the round on the defensive side, and at least brought 2 back. So even if NORA-RENGO run it all the way and take a 4-2 split at the end of their attacking rounds, it's still a good position to be in if you're Empire clawing those 2 unsuspecting rounds back.
Yeah, definitely not a bad position to be in. And you're forcing Waka here to continue to evaluate what operator he's playing as. This time he's going to be bringing the IQ to get a bit more intel that will be able to spot some of the goo mines, the evil eyes, I'm sorry, the black eyes, as well as the mute jammers. Rayso with the most plants of anyone in the tournament. He is the man to stick the diffuser down. It seems he is trying to give Goga a huge run for his money. It would be interesting to see them up against each other if NORA-RENGO could make it through this, but congrats to Rayso. Fantastic play from him on getting those plants down.
That's the thing, it's been either a game, regardless of who is playing, it's either been a game of constant plant focus, objective play, or just a frag fest. There's been no in-between where it's been, there's 4 plants in a game. No, it's either there's 9 or there's 0.
Very often it seems to be determined by who dies early or who is forced off site early. Smoke coming out for a potential execute here pretty early, or just to try and pick Joystick off. As it does take a lot of damage, but it doesn't matter. Mary used the one punished, and a back and forth.
Ramu would trade out Karzeka over by the Cool Vibe stairs, though Joystick will finally fall, but not before Scyther can take down Waka downstairs. Ramu and Rayso last 2 alive, and the floorboards above Scyther rapidly eviscerated. Now Scyther launching a Nitro Cell, just causing even more havoc for the floorboards above those bar positions that the anchors would love to hold, but know that NORA-RENGO is pressing and trying to persuade them away from playing.
Well, drones coming out now as they start to slow down, because a 2v3 information advantage potentially on Empire's side. They may even still have some of those black eyes left, but no IQ to spot them out. It means they need to play for any advantage they can get to try and isolate or bait out preferably one of the players. Now that the smoke coming out, they know some idea of the positioning of that player in blue bar, but it's a difficult push, and Scyther being able to hold his position again on Cool Vibe stairs means this rotate from Rayso could be easily punished.
Scyther again pushing up with that shotgun, and Ramu's been down, and that'll wipe it out. The defenders of Empire bring another one back into their corner on the hookah, the blue bar and sunrise bar defense.
Certainly good play by Empire, who gained a nice advantage there. Most of the trades, anytime you saw anyone from Empire dropping, it seemed the trade was there. Not to mention 2 kills at one point, which gave them that man advantage. And just denying the right operators, like we were saying about who dies early mattering and whether or not it is a frag fest or playing for objective. Rayso still being alive, tried to play for that objective, but just did not have any manpower really to be able to shut them down enough. At least Joystick was dead, but they also still had the smokes left on board, and that was a big problem for them to try and make that push without really a lot of utility to do anything with. Rayso doing a good job, but a little late in that sense. So bringing it now to advantage Empire, but I could easily see this going 3-3 into the side switch.
Be it all shocking to see NORA-RENGO hyping themselves up, trying to get them back into this game as They put 2 in a row on the board to keep the minute and stop Empire from running away with it, but now they have to attack towards Hookah and Billiards one more time. The primary bomb site elected to be taken by Empire. We're going to see another kitchen, as that was just a weird round on the defense, but Empire weathering that storm, and they look to take the advantage again. The 5-1 lead into the half on Bank. And the last time they played Coastline was yesterday against Liquid, where they were down 5-1 at the
10 seconds
half.
to go.
Well, interesting to see the going back to Hookah after skipping it for a round. They're actually going to change up some operators, thinking they have some idea what they can do to defend it a little bit better. Because of course you still have to defend Hookah to an extent for bars. So this is kind of their corner of the map at this point, trying to claim this real estate. And again, it's going to depend on whether or not they can hold that top floor control. But the thing it's interesting is NORA-RENGO don't bring anything like a buck or a sledge to open up the floor other than Jackal's ITA. So even if they get that top floor control, that might depend on breach charges and other things like that to open up those angles, actually turn that control into something useful. Instead, it ends up in a lot of gunfights, and Cool Vibe stairs control, seeming to go very often over to Scyther, is making it a big problem for them to turn any kind of top floor control really anything useful. If you can't really fight downwards, if you can't rotate downwards, what is that top floor control doing for you? But you kind of need it to get a plant down successfully.
Papilio opening up some rotate options, and he's going to find a set of footprints over here on the far side, which most likely should be Joystick. They're actually Karzeka, who had rotated over as that Ella over towards the theater hallway. So Papilio will, again, try and isolate Joystick's footprints, as those are probably the most dangerous ones you want to keep an eye on. I'm very wary of any runouts and aggressive plays, because that's all Empire have been doing the last couple of maps. On Consulate, they tried it, and they overextended a little bit and got caught out for it, but ever since Bank, they've been on a run with their aggression, and there hasn't been much response as far as aggression is concerned on the side of NORA-RENGO.
And that's the thing, is I think once you can keep a team continuously on their back foot and not get overconfident, that can absolutely work in their favor. But NORA-RENGO slowing things down a little bit and trying to play a bit more careful doesn't matter for Ramu, who gets taken down by Karzeka. And looking for a second.
Trying to push through luggage, and it looks like Papilio will bail out on that all the way down, holding the flank, waiting for Joystick to make his return from the lobby, as he's now been droned out. Shots errantly through the floorboards, won't come anywhere close to connecting onto the head of Joystick, and Papilio thinking about popping the hatch that Joystick was about to rush right in front of, inside of the CCTV hallway, and Ping's coming out on Karzeka playing the big doorway. And he's either gonna go for a run out, or he's gotta contest the guy inside of luggage, and what a beautiful turn and shot there from Karzeka. Now Joystick going for the run out on the office windows, a vault onto the balcony, but it's a bait out, another one down. Raycel's got a fourth one inside of luggage. Waka will shut down Karzeka before Shockwave will clean up Mary. Raycel is still down, and now it's all Waka alone inside of Aquarium, trying to angle in towards any of these anchors and facilitate a revive onto Raycel. Just waiting for someone from Empire to come soaring in through Aquarium and try and take these both out at the same time.
Important thing is that burned enough time, down to 23 seconds, and Smoke's still in play here, along with Joystick on the prowl.
15 seconds, they have angles from down below. Joystick watching the default plant. The Toxic Babes coming out from Shepard. They immediately vault in and shut down by Raycel. Shockwave closes it out. Empire 3 rounds away from the grand finals.
This is a difficult place to be in. For them, though, they have to go over to the attack now, but the fact that they played so much better on defense than we saw in that Liquid game, their ability to rotate around freely, get away with those runouts, play for those plays that Karzeka especially was making inside of Aqua, that was definitely a heads up. A little bit of luck, but winning a lot of the gunfights and then baiting out for Joystick and then baiting each other, absolutely phenomenal play in that sense. And I mean, they deserve to have that lead, but at the same time, attack will be a very different game. But if that confidence is already lost with NORA-RENGO, it's already over in their heads.
Just the crosshair placement coming out from Karzeka, dominating. Kills through drone holes. Empire, as aggressive as they are, they also sneaky. Very, very sneaky. Oh, it's got to be frustrating to play against if you're NORA-RENGO or any other player or team that any of them have faced.
Yeah,
that's...
It's interesting that they're going to go to Kitchen for their first site, though. Now, Kitchen was actually the primary bomb site for a while, so it had originally been Penthouse.
Yeah.
And rotated down to Kitchen for a long time. Now it's become Hookah. But for whatever reason, they're going to decide to start on Kitchen, which was a big risk for Empire, but it was their third bomb site. They had to choose something. It was either that or it was going to be Penthouse. We know how well Penthouse fares, but you got to keep in mind with Kitchen, you still have to defend Penthouse. So this is going to have to be some good roam play up in theater, preferably. So I got to imagine Mario on that dock or Ramu on that Maestro are going to have to play aggressive in theater to stop them from pushing in from the penthouse side and getting that top floor control. Otherwise, Empire are just going to roll over them. Instead of bringing the Jackal, though, they're going to be bringing just the phone calls. Gotta say, though, the Jackal didn't really do a ton for NORA-RENGO.
No, it didn't do a lot for Nora, and that was honestly just the sheer bravado of Joystick. I'll put it that way. It's a lot cleaner than what I was thinking of, but Joystick on the Ashe is going to be way more dominant than any of the Jackal play was from NORA-RENGO's side, and Joystick, as we talked about, his Jackal play, very subpar in comparison to his Ashe play.
Yeah. I mean, at least it's not as bad as what was happening to Necrox on this map yesterday.
Rek kind of had his number on that one, specifically Foxeye.
Yeah. Well, either way, they will not be bringing it out, at least yet, from Empire, and there might only be just 3 rounds left on this attack if they can continue their momentum. There's the Thermite getting stalled out just a little bit by that goo mine, but he's going to continue to play actually fairly aggressive because he's not the diffuse carrier.
No, it looks like with Shockwave pushing through Papillia, the entire wall is soft to get in, so they haven't reinforced to try and hold this up top extremely hard. Scyther will win it out against Papillia, but not before Scyther has dropped down to about 10 HP. Ooh, and just seeing the leg there, Mario will fall to Joystick as he vaults over top of the bed. Scyther on extremely low HP, could use a reset right about now, but that's portions of that top hole dismantled for NORA-RENGO, and they're going to have to recover from this. The most common rotate on the objective will now be popped open from above, and Joystick will hold this. Shockwave was, cutting off the rotate from Waka down to half HP. Crouch spamming in behind and leaning away from a bullet that was intended for his head, and a run out from Ramu. Waka will take down Shepard in the process as well. Joystick and Scyther now left alive. As they had the 4v3 advantage, they're now at a 3v2 disadvantage.
They had great top floor control, but it was the people downstairs just not ready for the plays. Joystick with that top floor control, not really being able to turn it into a lot if you can't make those plays. Waka really turned things around as Scyther has such low health left.
Never getting a reset off. The diffuser is lost outside. You've got a man inside main lobby right now who's Waka, who's also about 1 shot. But Scyther will take his chances with engaging into the kitchen service door. Pre-fire's not missing by much onto Ramu, and Ramu's shots not missing by much either onto Scyther, and he's got to run the opposite direction of that toxic gas. 1 whiff will put him down on the ground and end the round. Breaking into kitchen window, and this is going to telegraph his position as loud as humanly possible. Now going for a vault all the way over to the Sunrise entrance. This is just grasping at desperation now for Scyther, as there's no real play to be made. He's looking for Legion mines. He's that low on HP. There's a wooden barricade stalling him out. Waka's on his right-hand side, and Ronald keeping him on the left. They both line up, and neither bullet connects, but it's all over for Scyther. There's no progression to be had as NORA-RENGO play it safe. They wait out the clock. Waka will fall for his troubles, and it won't really matter in the end. The Scyther gets a useless kill, and NORA-RENGO bring it back within 1.
Well, looks like we could see this being very defensive-sided, but as we've seen in the last 2 maps, if you get so many on your defense first, doesn't really matter how much of a comeback they have, because you're still potentially going to win some of your attacks. In this case, it's still advantage over Empire, but NORA-RENGO definitely showing far from out of it. They are 1 point away from tying here. I think NORA-RENGO need a little bit of your energy if they want to make this comeback happen, because now they're on the defense. Now they have some potential here. This is on serious aggression coming out from them, just to show Empire what aggression looks like.
The crowd with their chants for Nora, clearly the crowd favorite, and obviously winning over the hearts of many around the world with their Cinderella story. Empire, the Russian machine, still up 1 round currently, but it's 4 rounds to make it to the finals for Nora. It's 3 rounds to make it to the finals for Empire. Unless we go to overtime, and like you said, I don't imagine overtime is that far off. I imagine we're going to be going down to the absolute wire, most likely an 8-7 final on this map, the way things have been going back and forth for these 2 teams.
You're casting it, it's got to go all the way.
You're right. I am cursed.
I mean, if there was a betting pool, you just look who's casting. Flint? All right, 3 maps.
Yep.
Easy. But in this case, you know, the question is, how far will it go? I mean, the fact that the first 2 maps were so short does make me think this is where we get that overtime between these 2 teams. Both have shown to be very defensive-sided if both continue the same defensive streak. Then, of course, you end up automatically at that point just because both teams have done the same thing with that overtime from the tie situation. We'll see, though, how they can defend bar. They actually defended Kitchen much, much better than Empire did, so they've shown they can do something that Empire cannot. The question is Hookah really their 3rd bomb site, or is it just a case they wanted to try Kitchen first and see how that went, which was, I mean, it was a little tricky. Their theater defense was not the greatest. They lost a few people up there trying to play it the way that Joystick does. But either way, it just after that, everything seemed to fall apart on the attack. Now Waka gonna do something we saw last night as well on some of these defenses, playing behind that bar and using that deployable shield, along with his Evil Eyes to peek above it.
Drone's coming out towards Office. It'll be up to Empire to spot out this double CCTV hold coming out from NORA-RENGO, and that's a little peculiar, but extreme horizontal pressure right now from NORA-RENGO. No vertical control. The best they've got is a guy up halfway up Cool Vibe stairs, and it looks like that was Racel through the silhouettes, but extreme horizontal coverage for NORA-RENGO across the first floor. Basically every square inch that Empire want to rotate to and dominate, there's a player of NORA-RENGO laying in wait.
Unfortunately, right now, the attack from Empire looks a little one-dimensional, and they're all pushing from the south side, so they're going to need to run into some of the players early on and get some picks. Or, well, as I say that, Joystick, a nice jump in there, and good initial kill that's going to really help things out, but now he's going to have to rotate to start to do some more damage because he needs to play solo, not with the team. That's just the way he rolls. They're going to start to open up Blue Bar now and make their presence known, and they only have 1 set of smokes to make the plant go down.
Karzeka up on the desk inside of Office, just trying to get an elevated angle onto anyone in behind the bar inside of Sunrise. And they've still got plenty of time to go for their site execute. Empire do. They just got to be wary of those flanks. Like I said, lots of horizontal control, which means anyone at any time can come flanking through into the courtyard with this half blown open wall, but they get rid of the Evil Eye to get rid of the intel, and now Racel has gone topside to establish some vertical control. Waka will cut right through Karzeka as well through the window. Karzeka will fall outside, and Shepard now picking up the diffuser and rotating in towards Office.
Scyther, though, a bit low health. We saw how that worked out for him last round. No time for reset, though, so it looks like we're going to see a repeat of that if he doesn't get down in the process. He doesn't have a lot to bring to the table outside of the gun at this point, but everyone else needs to be in position. Joystick taking so long on this rotate.
Flashbangs come out and hitting the deck immediately as Racel trying to avoid it, but he will fall eventually to Joystick upstairs. Shepard pushing in and trying to facilitate a plant with Scyther as the coverage. He's 2 HP. Ramu will rip right through him, but downing Mario on the stairs. Ramu with another one onto Shepard, so that stops the plant. Shockwave taking down Waka, and Joystick rushing through with the 5-7. Empire, again, 2 rounds away from setting themselves to the grand finals.
Definitely took a while for Joystick to rotate around the top, but his ability to do so, get a pick downstairs, rotate upstairs, get a pick upstairs, rotate around downstairs again, just run of the map from the top floor, absolutely working out for him, and the rest of his team just doing their job. In the meantime, we're going to see a timeout as they try and rethink what's happening here. How can we stop this? We're 2 points away from getting eliminated.
It's a tough loss there from NORA-RENGO. It really looked like their setup and their ideology for the hold was pretty solid, considering they know Empire don't like to go upstairs and clear with anything more than really just Joystick. They send 1 guy upstairs, so you don't need to contest that too much as far as manpower and reinforcements and investment of utility are concerned. So they played the horizontal game. They know that Empire like to come in horizontally on the same horizontal plane as the objective. They just lost their gunfights, and Joystick really being that pierce to the armor, cutting right through NORA-RENGO. So it's a 2-round advantage for Team Empire. It's 2 rounds away from locking this out and sending themselves to the grand finals of the Invitational, the biggest tournament in Siege history, the biggest tournament and moments of these players' lives. It all rests in the balance here on Coastline.
Well, let's hope that timeout was used not just to talk strategy, but also to talk hype, to say, hey, we're only 2 points behind. All we need is 4 on defense. You know what? Empire were able to do that. We can do that. No big deal. We played some maybe awkward bomb sites, managed to win Kitchen, but now they go to Hookah, which, like as I said, has been the primary bomb site for many teams, is totally winnable, but they've got to play smart. They've not got to give away too much And we're not seeing a lot of time burning very often coming from these players. Not a lot of operators being picked for time burning outside of smoke most of the time. There is at least 2 C4s, I would imagine, here on the board for the defenders. So they will have those along with some barbed wire and deployable shields. And the Maestro Evil Eyes along with Black Eye. So a lot of intel, a little bit of delay. NORA-RENGO should be able to pull this off, but we've seen some good attacks on actual hookah earlier and just not a lot of focus on default plant spot inside billiards.
Before insertion.
Kind of the confusing thing with the bottom of those coastline walls. We were talking yesterday about how I think it was Liquid weren't opting to take impact grenades for this. You can see all the floating wood. It's just the nature of the walls on coastline. They don't make a lot of sense and they don't agree with shotguns. That's why impact grenades are far, far superior at making rotates specifically on this objective.
What happens if that coastal saltwater gets into the wood? A little tricky.
Well, an immediate repel coming out for Empire onto the aquarium balcony as they look to contest the objective head on immediately. No real clear anywhere else other than, of course, Joystick going out on his own little mission, having his own fun.
Well, I mean, that's what he does best. He needs to be that flank, but honestly, that is a role that a lot of players don't necessarily do nearly as well, which is to be able to do their own thing, drone for themselves, let your team work, but be such a huge distraction. And always having to watch your back. Is Joystick going to kill me while I'm trying to fight the team? Should be a thought in the back of your mind if he's doing his job right. But now they're going for the droning again into the site. New Jammer's going to slow it down a little bit. And we will see them go for that aquarium push onto billiards from the looks of the droning so far. But could we see Joystick come up from the flank from the pool vibes, potentially? Or even over to the hookah doorway, just to make it hard for them to focus?
Immediate pressure already inside of aquarium, and they see the Evil Eye in behind the pool table, and it'll be dispatched of quickly by Karzeka. All it takes is one impact. There's no ADSing or ADS preventing that from happening. There's also a Valkyrie camera in the ceiling that I don't think anyone in Empire has spotted out just yet, but Scyther's that IQ will be the determining factor in all of that. And a thermite charge going out elsewhere on the map. I'm imagining VIP wall. Try and push from the VIP hallway.
Definitely a possibility here. It looks like...
VIP wall.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, that's certainly going to help things a little bit here. But we do have Pagoda stuck in the corner there, just trying to hold position now. I'm not sure if that drone caught. If he's not caught there, that could definitely be a huge flank. Joystick doing what Joystick does. Unfortunately, doesn't land enough of the shots, but definitely does some damage with that breach charge. That's certainly going to put some hurt on Mary, but no kills found and only 45 seconds left. It's going to be a tough plant, but they got the smoke still of Shepard, who's going to also be the defuse planter.
Look at the bodies going downstairs for NORA-RENGO. 2 of them descend down Cool Vibe stairs as Shepard runs in with all the smokes and all the stuns in the world. And Joystick's gonna hold off this ingress into the blue bars. The plant is going down. The Nitro will miss. And the plant is completed in a 5v5. Waka with 1, Empire with 2. It's a 4v3 now, 4v2. Nitro Cell errantly will miss from Waka. Ramu cut down. It's all Waka alone now, answering his phone. Shut down by Scyther. Empire! 1 round away from the grand finals.
Certainly took a long time to set up that attack with really no kills going on in the meantime. But because they had map control, and that was a smart plant spot. Yes, it is a risky one because they could potentially see around the smoke if you don't execute the smoke correctly. But that sound right there, that is potentially the bell tolling for NORA-RENGO in this tournament. Creative plays coming out from Empire in the sense of playing it a little bit differently, but still going for the same bomb site, or the same side of the bomb site, I suppose. Kitchen coming out again. Risky play to finish this off on the defense. The only defense they've won. So I wouldn't call this defensive-sided so far with the way Empire are playing it, showing that they learned a lot yesterday.
Clearly learning from their mistakes against Liquid and understanding that they needed to start on time. They took a 2-round advantage into the half as well, which was very beneficial to extending them to the point they're at now, a 6-3 lead. NORA-RENGO need 3 consecutively to push overtime, or Empire are headed to the grand finals of the 6th Invitational at only their 2nd appearance at the tournament.
Yeah. And you can see from that scoreboard, I know we talk about Joystick a lot, but Scyther has been a recent hero for this team, definitely doing a lot of work in this particular match as well. So everyone on that team, while we don't always highlight them all individually, absolutely showing up, and that is why we are here at this point right now with the potential for them going into the finals and looking, you know, just 1 round away from what we could be. That timer at the top there could be the countdown to Empire's victory.
same as yesterday, a lot of main entrance focus for Empires. They love pushing from the east side of Coastline over to the west side. It's a very commonplace, but man, do they exemplify it. And like we've said plenty of times already, Empire, not exactly original when it comes to strategies and creative when it comes to making new ones. They like to be repetitive and replicate the same things over and over and over again. So they will continue their pushing through Hall of Fame, over to Theater, and they'll push over to the west side of the map.
And that's the thing is, last time the fights lost in Theater cost them Penthouse once that top floor control was there. It did seem advantage Empire, but they didn't have a lot of utility, again, to be able to do a lot of downwards pressure. They weren't playing that buck or sledge to do some damage downwards. They weren't playing with any grenades. So it just didn't really mean a whole lot for them winning those fights. Again, Scyther going to be trying to take those fights in there. Shepard the one carrying the defuse. Not going to be trying to engage from there. He's going to be playing from a different side.
Well, it was Mary who pre-firing in from Theater, taking down the drone, and he's still laying prone in this very, very tight angle in behind the couch or a bookshelf as well. Looking to send at least one shot down with a connection onto an Empire attacker, but Papilio will start things off into Shockwave otherwise. Good news for Empire is you lose your Thermite of all operators, and it's a kitchen defense. You don't really need the breachers, but Mario will cut down Joystick as he flanks on the hallway. Papilio with another one. Battling back and forth inside of VIP. Scyther will bounce back with one, but the pressure inside of Theater, too great to handle right now for Empire. Scyther takes a little bit more damage as he backs out, and through the floor, Shotgun will bounce. Now it's Shepard trying to drone out and provide some intel for Scyther, but Shepard's got to join in on the fight. Scyther is very separated on the opposite side of the map now from his only remaining teammate.
This is not looking good for them to pull this out. Scyther, again, on that low health has not really worked out from time and time again, but at least the smokes are still in play for Shepard, but they're going to need to find some kills. Smokes or not, you're not going to get this plant down against 4 defenders here, especially since there is one gas canister as well left for Racel.
Drones again to try and assess the situation, but this looks like it should be a NORA-RENGO round, although we've said that a couple times specifically on this map, and that just hasn't been the case when it's all said and done. Sliv walk in behind the Lambo desk, bouncing back and forth and trying to take a more favorable angle against Scyther, but the clock is running down on Empire. There is no time. They need to go for a commit right now. Pulling out a drone, really, just to assess there's a guy in main lobby is not the play here for Empire. No time. Walker will shred right through Scyther, even though he had the info anyway. And Shepard, last alive, dancing around outside. No idea where to push in. Each entrance is cut off. He'll grab one useless kill. And NORA-RENGO again bring it back within 1, 2.
Well, good news for NORA-RENGO is they're not out of this yet. The bad news, all they've won is Kitchen twice. You can't continue to play that every single round. And unfortunately for them, they cannot even play it again unless they make it to overtime here. So they've got to figure something else out. And that just shows a weakness of Empire. But again, one they cannot exploit unless they can get to overtime. Next, just seems like their inability to be able to execute from that top down. Also, Joystick. That was a good, confident fight. Just the timing there on the white stairs, absolutely in play for NORA-RENGO. Very smart play in their side. Just waiting for him to come down the hallway, knowing he was playing down there. Good use of intel. We'll see a 6th pick for some extra intel here from Ramu, something he played very well on Consulate. But again, to Hookah, something they failed to win. I imagine they might struggle with again. But at least they played it once, learned what they did wrong. That might be the chance that they need, is just still being in this after that slog. They are only 2 points away from that overtime. Look at the crowd here giving them the energy to try to make that happen. It's going to be a long shot, but it could happen.
Attackers have located a bomb. 10 seconds left before insertion.
Set up here, just taking their time, trying to figure out what they need to be doing in this round is not going to be easy, because Joystick has yet to be shut down adequately, with the exception of that last round. His ability to take the fights in there and help set up for the attack gives them the opportunity to get that awkward control that they were able to use last time for the plant. I gotta imagine though that same plant might not work out this time, because one of the things you can do, of course, is if you do the plant spot ahead of time, you can throw the C4 exactly where you expect it to be, but they've also got the pulse, which will give them the opportunity to spot exactly where that plant's going down, get the C4 kill. So now that bottom floor control much more crucial for Empire. NORA-RENGO, if they can hold on to that, could make this work this time. Not gonna be easy though.
Real feels bad for Mariu, who had the door popped open and out on tarp now, who could have prevented all this was Mariu. Now you have Shockwave angling in towards Hookah. Back and forth battle as pings come out as well. Establishes position and he'll fall back a little bit deeper. Dancing across that reinforcement. There is a man inside of Hookah on the interior of this wall, just waiting to be found out by Shockwave, but no, he'll fall off the angle. Joystick making his immediate entry in downstairs towards Blue Bar, as well as he holds the Cool Vibe stairs. No big shock, because this has been his path most rounds.
Fortunately for the Thermite, there's just not a lot of use for him this round, so his job is just kind of help with the flanks, do some droning, but Joystick getting so close to an engagement on Cool Vibe stairs. He needs to take control of Kitchen though, push Ramu out of there, but look at that, 2 men stacked up on Cool Vibes, waiting for this. They could potentially at least trade him out if he's able to get one. Oh, but he is spotted. He's not gonna have any advantage here, despite what he is thinking. He doesn't even spot the camera up there just above him. He's so laser focused on that ACOG, and he's gonna lose soon in that next battle.
Thermite charge able to survive the impact trick as one impact will be sent out from down below, but the second, it wasn't even an impact, it was a nitro cell sent out, but oh, what a great shot from Papilia onto Joystick. Downstairs inside of the Blue Bar, Joystick will fall, and this might be the signal that Empire might be falling apart on this attack.
Well, still 48 seconds left to go for the execute. They have all the Hookah control they need. Mariu able to still play behind Small Bar. If they cannot do anything about him, there's not gonna be a lot they can do to stop his pushing around the corner at just the right time if they try and go for default plant spot. Scyther though, at least not on low health.
Smart play from Karzeka to blow open the Aquarium hatch into Office. A wide peek from Mario almost cost him his life. Free fires aren't going to connect, but Ramu will fall in the process now. Here goes one of your nitro cells dispatched of, even though it was already utilized. Shepard now making it inside the smoke. Trying to go for a plant again. Another nitro cell won't connect. Shepard almost done completing the plant. And it's going to be a post plant again. Scyther with a Claymore. Raisa will fall. Mariu on 1 HP. Trying to battle out from behind the bar with no success. Twisting and turning and nowhere really to go, but Scyther will be down outside. An aggressive run out from Waka will level the playing field. It'll have to return to the objective. Mariu narrowly avoiding the bullets, but will finally fall. It's all down to Waka and Papilia to keep themselves alive. Papilia with one onto Shockwave. Oh no, Papilia with another one. It's all Shepard alone now. 1v2 turned on its head inside of luggage. Oh no, a team kill!